Alright, folks, welcome back to another exciting happy day in the Mortal Realms. Bill, you got something cool to show us, don't you?
I do. Look at this. It's a new lens. Makes guys
Lens.
look better and stuff when I show them off on camera.
And you know what I noticed too? Is I could see the gray on gray dry brush very clearly.
Yeah, isn't that cool? Yeah,
Yeah.
you can actually see it now. It
hmm
happens to be white, so the white balance is probably just like a little off, but
Yeah,
close enough.
but like I can see it this time. Like
Yeah,
I
you
need
can
to get the
actually see
lens
it.
too. Like look at how dark this guy is.
I can kind of see it.
Yeah. I'll move the light
Yeah,
here. Right in my eyes. That's okay. I do it for the fans.
indeed.
But yeah.
Oh.
That's exciting. Like I'm really happy you got that. It looks great.
Yeah, I got a cheap one just on Amazon just to give it a try to see how it worked out, and
hmm
so far I am very happy with it.
Yeah.
It's
Because
just a called a macro lens, so it does much better at close-up stuff.
Absolutely.
That's the idea.
hmm And I don't know if you noticed, but this time I actually remembered to change the stream title.
Oh my goodness,
hmm
I did not notice because I never think to look there either.
Yeah, I was setting up early, and then I happened to see it. And I'm like, oh, oh, God, yeah, and then
We
I
should do it
changed it.
ahead of time. That's
Yep.
exciting.
hmm But yeah, so today in a little bit we're gonna talk about the battle tactics and the grand strategies in this game. And like we talk
Indeed.
about it when we do the books before a little bit, but Vince on Warhammer Weekly did the show a little bit ago, and we wanted to put a like not necessarily a rebuttal or a counter argument or it's more of a yes and in our opinion on it. We just thought it'd be a great show to do
Yeah,
and
and
just
I
get
got I
that
got some
thought
I
out
got
there.
some hot game design ideas, hot
Yeah.
off the press. I haven't even told Alex what they are yet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And
so
then like we
we're gonna
get there
get
into my
some
show and
reaction live.
we get there in the show and you tell me I'm like you're undermining my channel. No, you do this to me on live air.
This sucks. What are you doing, Bill?
I told you. Smack. No, I'm kidding. That wouldn't happen. But I'm curious.
It's good.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
a
No one gets your hopes up too high. It's probably
mm-hmm.
nothing too terribly exciting that hasn't thought of already. But
Yeah, you
maybe.
don't know that.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe it's the best idea in the world.
It might be.
Yeah,
It has a very off chance.
yeah, but you don't know.
I don't. You're right.
I certainly don't know because you didn't fucking tell me.
I didn't fucking tell you. Exactly.
hmm
Gotta keep the suspense up a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I know it might be boring that I'm painting another Vermin Lord like right in a row, but I want to
Dude,
get
those
these on
models
the
are sweet. Are
table.
you kidding me?
Yeah, I'm doing a very different color scheme. I'm gonna try like there's administrative gray on it. I'm not sure what I'm doing for a wash yet, but we'll figure it out. And I want
I mean,
like his fur to be um starting with rust gray and then Fenrisian gray highlights and then a lighter blue. And then his armor is gonna be silver, I think.
nice.
Yeah.
Also, counterpoint to your painting of Vermin Lord 2 dates and 2 streams in a row. How
Mm-hmm.
many weeks did I do Bellacore? And then how many weeks in a row did I just like flounder around with like Chaos Knights, the same
Yeah.
ones
I
forever?
guess you're
So,
right. Yeah.
it's, it's certainly nothing I haven't done
I think
before.
it's fine. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited to see how you do it differently than the last one.
Yeah. And then the Eshin one I think is the
Oh,
appropriate one to be the black one.
there you
With
go.
black fur and like really dark skin.
Alright, so this sucks.
Tell me what's going on.
This little raven here,
Mm-hmm.
perched on by the absolute. Hey, you can actually probably see it.
Oh my god,
Uh,
I can see it.
Look at how fucking tiny that little thing is. That little speck that's
Yeah.
holding that on. I cannot dry brush that
Yeah,
raven.
I was about to
So
say the modeler was like dry brushing, not on my watch.
yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah, right. No way.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah.
And if I break that off, that thing is going to be fragile forever.
Yep.
So, well, we'll just deal with it, I guess.
You maybe get to edge highlight it.
Maybe. I'm gonna slap some contrast on that, and we're gonna call that a day.
Yep.
You can,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to edge highlight the world's smallest bird.
No,
Smaller than a hummingbird.
it's it for sure is. I gotta be extra careful now, though. of
Mm-hmm.
like keeping things in the camera, but I just realized that was not in the camera at all.
Yeah, I should look a little more. It's really hard to look at the other person's while you're painting. Am I giving excuses? Maybe.
No, oh no, I honestly barely look over at your stuff too. Like
Yeah.
when you're like, look at this thing, I'm like, okay, I'll look now. But
Yep.
like most of the time, it's hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like directly in front of my eyes.
Absolutely.
Well, okay, it actually is, but that's
Well, it's
whatever.
just it's upper now, right? Because like I'm looking kind of down.
Right.
Yeah. Not at my monitor. That's another great reason why we miss people's chats too.
It honestly is. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
All right. And another thing that I might have in my possession is a lot of, some new paints that may or may not be coming out soon.
Mm-hmm.
So I may, if you pay attention closely, you may see a few,
Yeah.
fun new colors being used.
And we still plan on doing our little wild wacky bonanza show with all of them.
Oh, I'm so excited. I got a couple of my zombies built. No, I didn't do them all. I was just
Mm-hmm.
like doing some last night. These things are awesome, by the way. I love
Yeah,
these.
right?
Like, look at these things. Hey,
That might be
I
the
love being
most
able to show them off
significant.
right now. Like, this is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so happy with this
You might
lens.
be a Soul Blight player, yeah.
I might be.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to have the most technicolor zombies you have ever seen.
Yeah.
It's going to be fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
I do
let's
love
see.
that army. But I haven't
So
played it in some time, to be honest.
oh, really?
It's just I have so much to explore with the Skaven book, especially.
It's
And
true.
like the
So
Sylvaneth book's
true.
a lot of fun. Night Hunt has been so fun. Like I have lists going for OBR and Soul Blight, but I figured I've been playing a lot of Soul Blight because that was like the good army I had for a while.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like
So
I'll
you
give the other
got a bunch
guys a
of other
try.
stuff, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
but like I think Blood Knights are actually going to be excellent bounty hunters, for example.
Oh, probably, yeah.
And I've been playing around with a Staliarch Lord OBR list because I don't believe in Mortek Guard anymore.
You don't?
'Cause I'm just thinking about it because I feel like Purple Sun existing is a huge problem for them. And
Okay.
like I saw a game that confirmed my suspicions with Night Haunt, where like if you can just like reduce the rend, the reroll saves doesn't mean anything, and then Bounty Hunters is 2 damage on them.
Oh, that's true.
I think they're
That's pretty
not
tough.
a good anvil anymore in this world. But
It's like they'll still be good in certain matchups, but they got so much worse in a lot of them.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So the idea behind the Staliarch Lords is I screen with the horses because I think they're a fine mobile anvil. I have a Mortison as a general, and so I can make the Necropolis Stalkers battle line. I double reinforce it because I take advantage of the battle bond.
Hmm.
Staliarch Lords lets you run in charge, and then these guys can reroll runs and charges. So the idea is like I can delete whatever I want, and then if they get into me, I'll still have a reroll save option there.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah, and then like if the whole army can run in charge, and then I have a unit of reinforced Morghast Harbingers because they get the 3d6 charge. So I'm trying this hyper mobile bounty hunter list.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, I think there's merit to it, but not
Are you
like
gonna have
top table, but like I think it's mid.
quick segue into our next topic, but related here?
Yeah.
Are you gonna have some trouble getting some of the battle tactics because you're not gonna have really any Galatian veterans?
Oh, the stalkers are galley vets.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because if you make them battle line, they get it.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't
Yep.
realize that.
Which is why they have battle
Interesting.
bond now too.
Hmm. Oh, that's right. That's right. Yes,
Yep.
that was. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So like I could be totally wrong, but I think there's like so much damage there now
Yeah, go
because
for
like
it.
their whole problem was like you couldn't get like more than 4 in ever,
Hmm.
and like now you can get all 9, and then you could never bring 9 before. So that's the one list I really want to try with them,
Nice.
and I think it's going to have some horrible matchups for sure.
Oh well. I
Yeah,
mean, anything does, right?
anything does. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and that might be a good list against like another casual list too. A lot of
Yeah,
fun. Yeah. But I'm excited for them to get their new book whenever that may be.
sometime this century, hopefully.
Yep. Not this year.
Doesn't look like it.
Yeah, I think the
Well,
Slaves book's gonna be solo book, to be honest.
yeah, I was gonna say it. That would be its chance, right?
Yeah.
Is with the slaves book. Although we haven't really gotten many depth books, so it really could be a double.
What I suspect is the first one of next year is gonna be a death book.
Okay.
And I don't know, it could be any of them. Like I think if there's not gonna be a new line of OBR, it's gonna be the OBR. But I think they want to do a new line of OBR right off the back of a new line of slaves. If that
Oh,
makes
I suppose
sense.
because they've got a bunch of stuff coming.
Yeah,
Yeah, they have
and
at least a few models.
yeah, they have the new Chaos Warriors, the new Demon, the new Chosen. Well,
Yeah, they've
it's
got a whole bunch of stuff.
not so much new, but it's like
Resculpts.
yeah. But like remember like the Start Collecting kit had like the monopose ones. And I think they just kind of expanded that with a new separate warrior kit that has like different stuff with it.
Oh my goodness, please.
Yep.
Well, I say that, but I actually have a ton of warriors, so I probably won't get any. But maybe.
Yeah.
And I can
Like
see that being very attractive to people.
yeah, exactly. I think they'll be sweet. So I think um my source is nothing, but my feeling is the next one's going to be Flesh Eater Court.
I can see it.
I have no reason to believe that other than it feels right to me.
The only counter argument I'd say to that is that since they were the last ones to actually get
The White Dwarf.
the white dwarf, that means it would have the least runtime.
Yeah, that's true.
But that doesn't necessarily mean anything because like
Daughters
they
of
were
Cain, right?
suffering longer, so maybe they'll get like the better stuff sooner.
Yeah.
You know, I
Or
guess
it
we'll
could be
see.
like Skaven where they didn't get anything and then they're the next book. OBR is rather. But yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
we'll
I have
see.
no insider information on that. But that's just also wild speculation.
Wouldn't it be cool if we did have insider information?
I would love that, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so. Oh, do you think what's it called? The Lumineth versus Zinch box is gonna be announced soon?
Oh, they haven't announced the box yet.
They announced the box, but I meant for like pre-order. I
Oh,
know
for
I didn't
pre-order.
say
Oh,
that
I
at
see.
all, but that's what I meant.
Um, I don't know. I think that one's a little longer out.
Yeah.
So the reason I actually think that the Warcry one might come out first.
Well, because they've been. Oh, did you see that trailer that they did for that? By the way, today.
I saw a trailer at some point. I don't know if I saw one today.
Yeah, it had Phil Kelly, and he was just talking about like how much he loves the setting of like just carnivorous plants, and it's about
Oh,
like the
I
Seraphon ship that crashed, and all the relics are there, and that's why everybody's fighting for it.
oh, that sounds cool.
Yeah, it was aw- I was very tempted to like pull that up and just show it to everybody before our show, but I didn't. You know where the community page is.
Oh yeah.
It's really
Oh, I go
cool
on it
though.
constantly. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I'm definitely gonna check that out. I think I read the article but didn't click on the video.
the
That's
video was
cool.
really cool. Yeah, I try to watch the videos. I know they're hype, but I like hype.
Yeah. Stuff like that.
And like I just thought that was gonna be like a video and it'd be like, so they did more realms. But like no, he actually had like some really cool things to say about it.
Nice.
I recommend it, yeah. And I know I just made fun of them like that, but I really like the FOMO boxes where it has like the heroes talking at each other. Or like
Yeah.
yeah. I think those are
Yeah, it
so
just
cool.
yeah.
Or even when they announced like the Gloomspite Git books, like what was it, like winter, like December of 18. I'm like, oh, this video is cool. Like, are you gonna get the army? Nope. Somebody will.
I don't remember that video.
It was like Scragra, like talking. He's like, I talked to the Bad Moon once, and and now won't talk to me. And then he just like screams. He's like, "Oh, when are you gonna talk to me again?" And then you hear like a voice, and it's like, "Soon." And you're like,
Ooh.
"Oh, yeah, exactly." It was sweet. And I don't even like destruction. Did I say that out loud?
You did, and no one was surprised.
Yeah. Surprise? No. Hurt? Maybe.
Eh,
Destruction's fine.
fuck him. Oh wait, did I say that out loud? My bad.
Yeah, and you know what? You guys hate death, so that's fine.
No,
And
I
I get it.
really like poking fun at Nagash because you try so hard to defend him, and it's amusing to watch the show.
It's you gotta though, right? Like that's the whole fun of it.
Oh,
If you
absolutely.
play a
Oh, no,
villain,
no,
you have to
no.
defend it.
Yeah. I mean, I gotta somehow defend Archeon. It's really tough. But guys don't press me on it enough, so I don't have to come up with
Yeah.
crazy things to mind warping things, reasons why he's the right one.
Mhm.
Because those would be mind warping for sure.
Yeah. And Nagash has a point of view and a very, very specific mindset.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
That's no joke.
That's like it makes perfect sense in his mind. Or like
His mind.
even a Mortark, like, yeah, that's like the soundest logic. But for everybody else in the world,
Like,
yeesh.
you're crazy, man.
Yeah.
If you didn't
So
have all that power, you would be totally dismissed.
yep.
We would never think about what you said again.
Mm-hmm. No, but you're a problem.
You're a problem, though. Yeah.
Yeah. I like the idea of like there's pockets of undeath that like Nagash hasn't touched yet, and that aren't like totally on board with him, but just happen to be undead. And like this idea of Soulblight are like, well, we have to be because we have no choice, but we don't want to be under this guy.
I mean, there could be. I mean, there's other gods of death in theory out there, right? So,
He ate a lot of them, but yeah.
yeah. But if the whole lore of Warhammer is meant to be, extended as much as you like, really.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
But yeah, I like that dichotomy.
yeah.
I think there's interesting design space there. All right. I think we talked enough.
All
Little
right, let's
chat.
do it.
Let's jump into this. All right. So we want to talk about the grand strategies and the battle tactics, and are they good for the game? Um, the short answer is I think absolutely yes, but there's a lot to dive into here, for sure. So battle tactics. The way I look at them is they're a secondary scoring system designated to give a player means to keep their score competitive, even if they struggle to hold objectives. Because I remember a lot, and this is one of the things I really liked about battle tactics, was like I would bring like these giant anvils, and then like if I couldn't be moved, I would just score no matter what you did, right? Like you'd kill
Yeah.
me by like turn 4, but like you have a way to keep your score close. Actually, yeah, that's a good place to start too. The biggest problem in second edition, in my opinion, was like how easy it was to avalanche your score so far ahead with like
Hmm.
these alpha hold strategies.
Yep.
And like, yeah, I took advantage of that for sure, and it's really hard not to. But
Well, I mean, it's a It's a winning strategy. So why
yeah,
wouldn't you?
and like your
Yeah.
armies were designed to do it. So
Yeah. Of
this
course.
is like a way, and like that paired with like objective, like the 1-2 more instead of for each objective. Great design, I think.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
overall, like these are a step in the right direction for this game, and having multiple ways to score, I think, is pretty important. Yeah, keep your opponents off the objective effectively. You can still score, and yeah,
There's an interesting question there, though. You can still score, but they can also do that. So, does it actually help you get closer or keep the game close?
um, yeah, I think so because there's the world where like it's only objectives and they're scoring and you're not, and now like it might not be enough in a lot of games, and it's definitely not a lot enough in a lot of games. But you have primary, secondary way to score, and then they're getting 2 ways of scoring, and you're getting 1. So instead of being 100% behind, you're 50% behind.
Well, okay. So here's my math, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you only had And now this isn't a totally valid argument,
Sure.
but let's say they'll keep the point however many turns and be, I don't know. Let's say they score 2 every turn, you score 0.
Yep.
Right? All right.
In an extreme
So,
here. Yep.
yeah, so for the first 3 turns, in this hypothetical world, they have 6 points, you have nothing, right?
Yep.
Okay. Now, same world, and we have battle tactics, right?
Sure.
Score 2 points each.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's say you're both able to score your battle tactics each round. So you now have 6 points and they have 12 points. You're still 6 points behind. You're the exact same number of points behind that you were before. So that's what was the point I was trying to make. Now now that there is more room for play here though with this, because that's one of the extreme possibilities where, yes, okay, it doesn't matter in this instance, but there is the possibility that they can hold objective, but they can't get one of the battle tactics because then they would give up the objective or something, and then you can get it, and then you catch up. Which is
opportunity costs. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Which I think might be in your presentation somewhere.
Yeah. I definitely did bring some of that up. But I think we're going into minutia there. And I feel like if you are able to extremely effectively hold the person off objectives, you're still gonna win. Yeah, for sure. But I think moving some of the points to secondary, because also in this world too is in second edition, there'd be 6 on the table, and then I would have gotten 6 points instead of 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely something there. So there's a fine line to balance here, but I think overall, I think it's undeniable that having multiple ways of scoring is actually better for this game.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that's unfair to say. All right, let's see. Grand Strategy, tertiary scoring system that rewards players for completing a specific task by the end of the game. So these are all or nothing. And yeah, I know a lot of you probably know this, but it's good to get down to the basics and then expand from there, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So this is a third dial. And I'm not a huge fan of these in general, the way they're executed. I think there's a way to do them right. But my main problem is if we look at Thondia, which was the first General's Handbook, these were so easy to complete. They weren't even do things. They were just make sure your opponent doesn't. And it's if you have a battle line unit alive, you got it, or if you had a monster. And they just did not mean anything. I think most games everybody got them. And it only mattered if they got tabled.
Right.
Yeah, and I think we had to talk about this too. Is in our General's Handbook show. It's what if these were just you get 3 points if you table your opponent, right?
Right.
And that's effectively all they are. But they definitely could be a lot more. And I think Galette came out, the newest season 1 of General's Handbook, and a lot of these were fixed to be actual goals that you have to complete. But the problem was, in my opinion, is that none of them mattered really until turn 5.
Right.
Yeah, the ones make sure nobody's on your territory. They go second. They move a guy in. Oh, all right, cool.
Basically a useless one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it's just stuff that doesn't really matter until the last turn, and you get it or you don't. And they're usually win more too, because one of them is kill all your opponent's battle line. And if you're doing
I was
that,
going to try to do that anyway.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
The amount of times where I'm ooh, I could get my grand strategy if I go for that guy, but maybe it's better to go for this other guy instead. I feel like it just doesn't happen often enough to be worth mentioning.
Yeah, right? I think so too. And I've definitely had games with the new book, or the new General's Handbook, where grand strategies actually mattered a lot.
Which is cool.
So it's already a huge improvement.
Yeah.
But I think we need a little bit more work here. For sure. And we'll get to it a little bit later in this slide, but one idea I would want with these is you pick a grand strategy and you score a little bit of it every turn.
I like that idea
than just the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you're actually playing towards it every turn.
Yep.
So
Like
we'll
you're
talk
trying
about
to
that.
get that one point, every turn.
Yeah, and
You're
it's like
trying
a
to.
grand strategy. Like that's the
Yeah.
whole thing of your army. That's what you're trying to do. Yep.
Yep.
And yeah, again, I brought up uh the Galette, the newest grand strategies here, just so we could talk about them. Yeah, no enemy battle line left aligned. Still way better than make sure you have a battle line alive because it's actually a goal that you have to complete,
Right.
which is
Exactly.
good. But yeah, a lot of
But it does.
games you're doing this anyway, right? Or your goal is.
Right. Yes.
And another thing I don't love about this, but it's just the nature of the game, is people are afraid of bounty hunters. They're reducing like all their battle lines, so they're gonna have like three like piddly units, and then some armies are just so reliant on like hordes and hordes of battle line that this is really matchup dependent if you are capable of doing this or not, right?
Yep.
And like that's honestly fine in a meta too. I don't see a problem with that necessarily, but I think we could
There's
do
so,
better, right?
there's so many things that would be more interesting if you picked them before each game as opposed to at list creation time, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like it would be so much more interesting to try to pick one that you felt like you could get because of your opponent's army.
And I know in Thondia, a lot of tournaments did a thing where every turn, like every game in your 5 rounds, you had to pick a different one. So if you picked hold the line or whatever the no battle line dead one was in one game, you couldn't pick it for the rest of the tournament.
I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, which makes them actually be a little bit more impactful.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think we could build these in a way that you don't need to do that, and that would still be a fun game mode, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Control all objectives wholly outside of your territory. Again, this one is directly tied in with the primary win con of the game.
So what happens if it says wholly outside of your territory?
Yeah. So you have to have
Okay.
all the no man land ones too, or the ones that are like on your border.
Right, right, right.
Yeah. But like this is exactly what you're trying to do, right?
Yeah.
Like this doesn't add anything new to the game. And it's win more like if you have those, you're
Yeah,
already
if you
winning.
did that, you're already winning so hard.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. That's the problem with a lot of the objective ones because like
Yep.
or not even objective tokens or objective points, like anything that's like hey,
Anything that's a secondary or tertiary scoring method that works solely off the primary scoring method is redundant.
right, exactly.
Is
Or
yeah.
also like off of what you're trying to do anyway in the game.
Yep.
There's no like get it going out of your way to try to get the points.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like wouldn't it be interesting if you had to like had one where you have to like go up, you have to like get onto an objective or something, and then intentionally like you couldn't charge there or something,
An
or you had to
opportunity
like go to
cost.
a remote, like you had to go to like some piece of terrain on the table, like kind of chosen at random, maybe it's totally out of the way,
Yeah.
and you have to go there, and you'll get 2 points if you do, but you could maybe use those guys to attack your opponent and weaken them instead. And
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you had to give up something in order to gain it.
yeah,
Yeah, an
exactly.
opportunity cost. Yeah. I think yeah, we'll get into that for sure. But yeah, that's definitely an unexplored space, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
For the most part, it is
Or
anyway.
even
Or
like
feels like
something
this.
that limits actions too. Or like forces you to like spend CP in a way that you don't want them to necessarily.
Ooh, that would be interesting. You have to like go somewhere and spend a command point, and
Mm-hmm.
then you gain, and that gets you your points. So it's like spend a command point, get 2 points, like, but you have to meet another condition or something too to make it interesting.
I'm gonna bury the lead here a little bit, but at the end of this, I wrote my own battle pack of grand strategies and battle tactics,
Mm-hmm.
and I have like, granted, I wrote these before Galette came out, so they're a little out of date, but I think there's some stuff here I want to talk about when I was trying to do with them, and
Sure.
one of them is based on spending command points weirdly.
I think
So
it sounds fun.
I'm excited to show that one off to in
Yeah.
particular now. But yeah, like there's just like none of that here. Next one is no enemy units wholly within your territory. That one is like a little different because I know I play a lot of games where it you just let them have it at one point, and you're trying to like clear off the stuff in their territory. So
Well,
this
yeah,
one's a little more interesting than the rest so far.
it has the same problem though of like if you go second or if you go second in the or first in the last round, you can't necessarily make that happen.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Which is like, yeah,
that,
so it doesn't matter till turn 5, which is a huge
yeah,
problem
exactly.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah, but at least it's not like exactly the goal. It's not like hold your opponent's objectives, which also has that problem and is tied to the primary, right?
true.
That's
It has
my
a slightly
thought.
different problem, but
Yeah,
not that.
it's a
Yeah,
step up, but like, not a huge fan. Yeah, more friendly units than enemies when an opponent's territory. Yeah, I mean, again, turn 5, they go second. I move all of my shit back to my home base. And the only way to stop that is to kill enough of their units that you just have more units.
in which case you're probably winning anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Win more.
Yeah.
Um, have 3 galley vets standing. All right, so like the ones that we didn't like in the old book of just have a battle line left alive, but at least this one's like harder to do because you need 3 instead of just like one idiot off in the corner.
That's true. This one actually does have like the opportunity cost, right?
Yeah,
Associated with it a little bit. Like you might want to use your galley vets to go in and like hurt the opponent, but they have a greater chance of dying, or you can try to keep them safe, but now you don't have their power on the battlefield.
or like you need them for the proving ground. Yeah.
Right.
So this is a huge step up above the battle line ones that we talk about.
I think so.
Yeah, I agree entirely. And then the last one is a GV from starting army in each quarter of the battlefield. And I take this one a lot, and I kind of like it. And I like the interaction that you don't need 4 units. You could just have like 1 in the middle or 2 halfway up the board. And there's like
Oh
a
yeah, that's
positioning
right.
element to it, right?
Yeah, because this was the one that at first glance it's like, wait, this is just worse than the previous one, but it's actually not because yeah, you can stay in the middle of you know you
Yeah,
can like stay in the middle of 2 or
because it
whatever.
doesn't say wholly within.
Exactly,
Yeah.
which makes it way more interesting.
So the ones I take a lot are that one. And like the 2 new books that came out are very teleporting based, and I have both of those armies. And
Mhm.
that made more enemy units wholly within an opponent's territory extremely viable.
No, it's true.
Yeah, and I like that design even too of like some of these were designed for certain armies that had certain strengths.
Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with that. I
I
don't
think
think.
that's even better if you did that.
Yeah, I agree.
Or it's like or even like the 3 units of galley vets. If like bounty hunters didn't exist, like I feel like slaves to darkness OBR would just take like double reinforced units of like their core troops and then just like buff the shit out of them defensively.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I think that would be very powerful too.
Mm-hmm.
And like that might still be fine even. Because I bet like there's people who like have to choose between like conquerors or bounty hunter and they choose conquerors a lot of the time. Like I do that in Nighthawk because a lot of my damage is from my heroes anyway.
Oh yeah, so you don't
Not with
care
the
as much.
Blade Geist lists, but yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah,
Those feel like they want to be bounty hunters.
mm-hmm. But yeah, these are a huge step up from the last book. And like there's actually like some of that play we're talking about that we like here too. But like I think ultimately these are all pretty win more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for the most part, they are.
Yeah.
Although
Couple
some
exceptions.
of them at least have like something interesting, but like
Mm-hmm.
overall, they're not
Yeah.
super exciting.
And they have that same problem of like it doesn't matter till the last turn anyway.
Right.
Like it's
Yep.
just so easy to manipulate the outcome on that last turn.
Yeah.
I'm not liking this blue. What do you think? I think it's a little bright.
Um. I
That's a
don't.
highlight for me, I think.
Okay. I was gonna say I don't super hate it, but
Yeah. It's showing up a little darker. Maybe I could do nightshade on it. I'll let it dry. I'll think about it.
yeah, give it a go.
Yeah. What's next? So, in a perfect world, battle tactics should be difficult to complete, or at least an opportunity cost. When declared, opponents should be able to stop you from scoring them with predictive placement or use of command abilities. So like Slay the Warlord, you have like the if you put your Warlord way in the back, you can counterplay that like preemptively. Or if you use like your all out defense finest hour, you have some counterplay against it.
Mhm.
Is what I think. Yeah. You should get like 3 to 4 of these on average, and you might get 5 if you're playing very well and your opponent's playing poorly, or 2. Because like the way it was before, like it was so easy to get 5 battle tactics and like not really any way to interact with your opponent being able to get them. And if we're just
Yeah.
getting 5 of these all the time, no matter who we are, it's like approaching pointlessness.
That was always my problem with it, right?
Yeah. And like that was goes into hand with the argument you just had too about
Exactly. Yeah.
like
Yep.
okay, so like they don't have the objectives and you're both getting them, right? They're still up by the same amount of points.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly
So
right.
you were touching on this earlier, but I think it bears mentioning here too. Yeah, so ideally these should be harder to get and they should be able to be counterplayed. And that's like what would separate a good player from a bad player.
Hmm.
Yeah. Opportunity. So I tried to do something where like we have categories of battle tactics. Like they wouldn't be like designated like this in the books, but like way to mentally compartmentalize them. And the first one is an opportunity cost one. And you need to give up something to achieve this. And I put Ferocious Advance there as a horrible example of this. Because like technically, you have to run 3 units to get it,
Yes.
which
Yeah.
means you can't charge or shoot or anything like that.
It is technically true. Yes.
Yeah. And I know people are talking about they should change it so you can only take it in the second, third, and fourth turn. And it would
That would make
actually
it way
be
more of an opportunity cost. Yeah.
yeah, like that would actually be an opportunity cost.
Yep.
Not sure how much I love the design space of limiting it to just a set turn number. I don't hate it, but I do think we could do better, right?
Yeah.
Um, is there another example of this, an opportunity cost that you can think of?
I guess that's really the problem, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I can't think of any right now, but I would love to see more of that design space.
Yeah. Oh, for
Um,
sure.
yeah. So then we have kill objectives, which like slay the warlord or broken ranks. And I think that's pretty self-evident. They want you to kill something.
Yeah.
The problem I have with that, and it's not necessarily a huge problem, is that this just incentivizes shooting. Because like if you have like a pure melee list, there's a little bit of an opportunity cost in charging something and then getting countercharged. But if you have like a long strike unit that wants to kill something, like I think that like you don't have the cost anymore of that, right?
Well, I think you need to. I mean, I think these could be fine. You just need to do exactly what you said and just limit it to melee instead of range. Feel like
Yeah,
you have to slay them with a melee attack.
and I don't even hate not that, right? Like I like in the world where like they don't limit it to melee,
Hmm.
even if it's all just range or like range can do it too. I'm just saying if you put too many of these in the battle tactic or in the battle pack, you're
Hmm.
turning it into a shooting battle pack.
Sure.
So like if you have like one of them in like any sort of kill, then that puts value on ranged units, which is fine. But if you lean way too heavily into this, you put all of the value into range units. Because like some armies are better at range than others, and like they should be able to like scope things out for
Yeah,
that,
they should
right?
be able to. Yeah,
Yeah.
correct. Yeah, that's true.
I just don't think you should have a lot of these. But like 1, 2, that's fine. And also a lot of times like broken ranks is fine because like everybody has battle line A and B. Shooting usually isn't that good at clearing out battle line.
It's true. Yeah,
So like
it's usually way better like targeting down
a
like a hero or
problem
something.
unit, yeah, or a
Yeah.
hero. Yeah. So I don't even hate that idea. Slay the Warlord, like you definitely if you have shooting, you're way more opposed to get it than not. Especially if they're like a 4 wound grot that's like hiding way in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just like out of any combat. Something like that. Yeah. So there's something there too. And then there's board control I put, which are they can be to claim objectives like conquer, but they're much better when they're like Savage Spearhead or the one in the new book that takes control of territories
Yes.
or
Yes.
terrain
Definitely.
pieces. Yeah.
Yep.
So
Because
I
it's more of like a kind of going out of your way,
yeah.
or it's not going out of your way and you see like a great opportunity to be like, ooh, I can get this battle tactic and take an objective at the same time, and then you feel really smart.
Yeah,
Like a nice play.
and also, yeah, exactly. And at the same time too is no matter how many models you have, you're not gonna you're not gonna be able to control everything, right?
Right.
And so if like they're bunkering down on an objective, and the battle tactic tells you to get the objective, that kind of sucks. But if you have a terrain piece to get, or like just areas of the board to get, you can actually play to that too if they're bunkering down on the objectives and still score.
Mm-hmm.
Or even like they might have to like spread thin to try to deny that. And so many armies are posed to take advantage of people spreading thin.
Yeah.
So like there's play there, there's decision making.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it makes your
And
deck
that's
setters. Yeah.
what makes things fun, right?
Yeah. And like how many armies have you seen that have like units that their whole purpose is just to sit on a backfield objective? Like Flesh Eater Courts, for example. I think Fire Slayers to some degree. Lumineth, your spear guys are definitely that, right?
Oh yeah.
Like the deck chair setters. Yeah. And like this gives them a little bit more value too of like, okay, I can hold this objective, but maybe I need to screen them out a little more so they can't like just drop their guys here in a Savage Spearhead. And like give you at least some play with the guys who are just sitting back. And then you
Right.
just have like counter board control rather than just objective control. So there's a lot of reasons why moving these to like arbitrary control methods are good, I think.
I agree.
Um do you think I got all the types of categories? I feel like there could be more, but I can't really think of them right now.
Yeah, we'd have to see something interesting and be like, oh, that is different than,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think
And the
that's pretty
interesting thing is
broad,
like,
right?
I think opportunity cost is actually like maybe not actually a type. It's more. So I think what they would actually be thinking about it is like kill, board control, and like I almost want to say like a miscellaneous action
Yeah,
of
and
some
and
variety,
all of
and
them could
then
have opportunity
and
cost.
all of the yeah, and probably should all have opportunity cost
Okay, I
of
can
some
see that.
variety.
Yeah, and like I would if I was like in charge of this game, I would have like resource drain as part of it too.
Hmm.
Of like we talked about a little bit earlier about spending command points in a certain way that you don't necessarily want to get it.
Right,
And
which
then
I think that could be very interesting.
I guess weird action fits opportunity cost a little bit better too.
Hmm.
Because like they all should have opportunity cost. I agree. Yeah. So I could redo these slides, but I'm not gonna at this
No,
point.
we're talking about it.
Yeah.
And, like, that's the whole point of the slides is to talk about it, right?
Yeah, exactly. And just for
Yeah.
me to remember what I wanted to say, mostly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
cool. I'm liking the Dark Reaper a lot better.
There you go.
Yeah. So
Nice.
Dark Reaper, Drakenhof Nightshade. All right, next slide. Thondia Battle Pack. I wanted to talk about like these a little bit too. Because Broken Rank, like I put like if I thought they were good or bad. Broken Ranks was the kill the battle line. It's good to have 1 to 2 low hanging fruits, I think, in a battle pack.
Hmm.
Would you agree with that or no?
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Because it gives the interesting like, well, do I use the low hanging fruit one now, or can I get something else that's a little harder to get now
Yeah,
and save the low hanging fruit for later?
exactly.
Yeah.
And like, we don't want them to be like impossible to get either, right?
Oh
Just
yeah,
like
or else they're just
we don't want
useless.
every turn to be grueling. I don't think,
Right.
because I think that would just wear people out.
Well, it would just lead to people just not even bothering, right?
Yep, I agree. Actually,
Or
that's my
what?
problem with the Realmscape Thondia narrative pack. Is there's just like so many of them that are like so hard to get.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then or like 3 of them you can't even get if an incarnate doesn't exist.
Which
And
is
then it's just a tiebreaker. So you're like, I don't
yeah.
care. Yeah,
So it's like, why are we even bothering?
yeah,
Let's just play the main objective and forget about these.
yeah. And like, but then you gotta try because like sometimes you get stalemate game. Like you can get stalemate games pretty easy, and then it matters. So, hmm.
I think at that point,
Thandia
like,
was fun, but there's some issues. Yeah,
yeah, I think you almost just agree with your opponent and not use them
yeah,
instead, and just like keep the, instead of like having to put all the thought into it just in case you might win because of it, you just agree to not use them and just call it a tie if it's a tie or something like that.
we ended up changing the all the ones related to the incarnate to just like ones that replace it with general or monster.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which it's funny because we played the incarnate once and we decided it was such a pain in the ass with the way like the wounds work and like you don't auto kill it and you have to like look at the table like every 5 minutes.
Oh, is it just annoying to play?
It's very
I
annoying to
haven't
play,
actually
unfortunately.
used it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that sucks. 'Cause it seems like it was gonna be really cool, but
it's
if it's just
fun.
like a pain in the butt,
Yeah, it's a pain in the butt, but
yeah,
that
that
might
sucks.
change if you memorize it, but we didn't yet.
Yeah.
But oh
I
well.
mean, that is the big problem I have with this game in general. Is like there's so much stuff.
Yeah, and like honestly,
Hard
like
to
we have
remember
a
all.
mechanism for things dying. It's called a wound characteristic. Why aren't we using that?
Yeah.
The end of the day.
And they could have just done it like, like Marathi.
Yeah,
And then like if you level up, you just heal some amount. And
yeah.
there you go.
Hmm.
Call it a day.
Yeah, I think that thing's gonna get rewritten at some point, and it's gonna be awesome. But we'll see.
So is it just too complicated right now? Or does it just like not do enough also?
Um, I've had a game where it did a lot, and I had a game where it did nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, I just think it's a rules mess too.
Ah,
Because like
right.
some of it affects everybody, and some of it only affects your stuff too.
Right.
But that's
Well, it's a
so
good thing I
that's a
bought the box
tangent.
for the terrain and not just for the incarnate.
I love the model so much. Yeah.
Oh, it's so great. Yeah.
Hmm. I'm very happy to have it.
Okay, quick side tangent.
Sure.
Did you read the lore on the trees in the new Warcry set?
Yes.
That they're like literally like gore-filled trees.
Yeah. Yeah. They eat.
It's like, oh my god, can you like all of my terrain with like it all being corn themed? Like, could you think of a better thing to add to my terrain
Nope.
collection than gore-filled trees? Like, come on.
That. Yeah.
That
I,
made me so happy when I read that
if I
in the
didn't have to
worst way.
replace a boiler recently, like I would consider that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. But maybe down the line.
Yep.
But all right. Back on topic. Sorry, boys. Conqueror. I just said it was straight up bad because it's just the primary hidden inside your secondary.
Woo, got him.
Yeah. Like I don't know what else to say about that.
Yep.
I put Slay the Warlord as a good one. And I just think because it like you can play around it even to the point like when it's declared. Like you can defensively burn finest hour there or like use any strategy to get away from it, right?
That's true.
I like this one a lot. I don't know if everybody likes this one a lot. I'm curious what people think. Do you like this
Uh,
one?
it's it feels like it's usually just an incredibly difficult one to get. And so like it's kind of like easy to forget about and ignore.
Yeah, that might be true too.
But is that a good reason to not like it? I don't know.
Because like I feel like in the Archeon list, especially, like there's a point of it's like, well, I can't kill this model at all
Yeah.
unless I dedicate a ton of it. It definitely shines the best in like your general is like a vampire lord on zombie dragon. That thing is very killable, but it's also like a very powerful punch piece,
Right.
like that
So you
range.
like want to put it into combat, right?
Yeah, and then you have command traits that make it really good at combat. Or like the Vermin Lord Warp Seer actually is a great example of that too. You want him to have Devious Adversary. You want him to be like a mega hammer, but at the end of the day, I think him and his retinue of Storm Fiends are killable.
So I think the problem with this one is
Or Storm
whenever
Vermin, rather.
it's like either like just a model that is basically unkillable,
Mm-hmm.
or well, okay, so with the Archeon, technically like the Chaos Lord on foot would be also be a general, so
Okay, so you could kill that little
You could
guy.
you can kill that guy, right?
Sure.
But
Yeah.
the problem comes is normally that kind of guy actually very specifically is usually in the back of the line, right?
So this
He's
incentivizes
in the
shooting heavily.
bubble
Yeah.
of everybody else. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. It's like it's hard to get unless you're a shooting army, and then it might be too easy to get.
Yep. So
So
it's yeah, maybe not. Maybe it's not perfect.
I'm not
Uh,
saying it's bad necessarily, but
would you go as far as to say it's good? And it sounds like no.
I don't think I'm not like a huge fan of it. But then again, I don't play a whole lot of shooting armies,
Yeah.
so like it doesn't help me at all personally, and so that can skew my opinion as well, right?
Sure. Yeah. I don't play a ton of shooting either, but when you play the game like they imagine it, where you have two big fighty generals, I think that's where it's at its strongest.
Yeah. Oh,
But you and
definitely.
I know
Yeah.
both know very well that's not what happens
No,
almost
you
ever.
make the little guy in the back the general because you can keep them safer.
Yep. Or it's
Yeah.
like the Legion and the Gash problem, where like you had the Vampire Lord on foot, hiding in the back as your general, and then the Zombie Dragon Rider, who you'd think would be a higher rank than the guy on foot out there, because if you lost your general, you couldn't bring back units anymore.
Right.
Yeah, and like
So that they like punish you so heavily for losing the general that you want to make sure that
you never lose
you
them.
don't. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's tough.
Yep.
But then again, we've talked so much about like good command traits on like certain units and like making them the general is like advantageous. So like some lists do it, but others just don't have the incentive to.
Which I think is a problem with how books are written more than the game. Because I feel
Yeah,
like you should want to make your best model your general because of that kind of stuff. And the
right,
command traits should be compelling enough.
right.
But like
But
there's metas and there's books written where like this is a good design, but it's not always the case. I think it's fair to say.
yeah, yeah, I agree.
Yep. Ferocious Advance is bad because the opportunity cost is non-existent early and late.
Yep.
That's it. Bring it
All
down is
through it.
okay. You want a small amount of kill tactics, but not every arm. Like there's armies that literally don't have monsters,
Yeah, that's the problem,
and then when
right?
you put Bring It Down in the pack, it inherently makes monsters worse, except for like the hero monsters that can counterplay to it pretty effectively.
Yeah, yeah, well, so it's one of those that isn't like absolutely the worst.
It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because but it sucks when you can't do it at all. But then it's like a strategy. It's like maybe I don't take a monster so they can't get it type of thing.
Yeah.
And there's like at least a decision to be made there, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Also, I don't love the bonus points if you do it with a special thing either.
Mm, no, not really.
Yeah.
Well, it's it's you could call it kind of an opportunity cost
Mm-hmm.
to get the extra points, but then sometimes it's just like, well, I was doing that anyway. Great
Yeah.
points.
Yeah. Like some armies like need monsters, for example.
Yeah, I
I
don't know.
don't. Yeah. I think I think it's fine. And like I wouldn't say it's actively bad. But in like my ideal 8 battle tactics, this would not go there. For a lot of reasons we mentioned. Would you agree with that?
Yeah,
Okay. Aggressive expansion is okay. Um it says like you take 2 objectives that aren't wholly within your territory. And like the only reason why I say it's not bad is because it at least forces you to spread thin.
right. Yes, and that was going to be my comment on that one too. It's not just do the objective. It's you got to do the objective maybe a little bit too much this turn.
Yeah,
So
you have to
there's at least
overcommit
that
a little bit, yeah.
potential cost. Yeah.
I like the one in the new book where it's this and kill an enemy unit.
Yes.
Yeah, that
Yes.
one's better because I kind of like the design of like multi goal multi goal battle tactics too for that reason
Hmm.
because it like makes you think about them a little bit differently and then it makes you try to do a couple different things in the same turn.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit better, but I like the ones that like take control of terrain pieces more than objectives for battle tactics because it's like forcing you
I
to play it
like that
differently.
idea
Yep.
because because they're not directly tied to anything. To like other objective. Yeah.
Or board quadrants even I think would be a great design spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see. Monstrous takeover, bad. Contest an objective with a monster. Okay, easy. I have a monster. I get 2 points.
Yeah. Look, I did it.
Yep, the end. That's
That wasn't a good
terrible.
one.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Savage Spearhead is get two guys wholly within your opponent's territory. Again, it's board objective that uh isn't about it's board control that's not about objectives, right?
Right.
And that's good. And the only thing you could say about it is like certain armies definitely can do it way better than others. Skaven and Sylvaneth definitely can do it.
I think that design space is okay. That some armies, I don't think you could ever write battle tactics that are perfectly balanced among all armies, right?
Yeah,
But you got to have like a good variety of them so that like one
every
army
army can
isn't.
benefit from one at least.
Yeah,
I was
it
about to
has like an
say
easier time.
too. I think it's good even because the armies that are high mobility usually have killing issues. So if you have like
Right.
kill points in them, like okay, I can't really get these ones, but like this teleport one, like yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yep.
got it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you need to incentivize every army equally.
And you know what? Funnily enough, it that actually segues into my idea like super well.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about it then.
All right. So here's the idea. So a lot of the
Oh, we
so
have
you
the
brought up a
collation
lot of
ones here too. We'll talk about those right after. Go ahead.
okay. So the main thing is right. They're like either too easy to get and then they don't matter, right?
Yep.
Or but also they're just like mostly non-interactive.
Mm-hmm.
I found so because it's like there's not much you can do once someone picks one. You have to like
Exactly.
really plan ahead, right?
Yep.
So the idea is at the beginning of the game, you and your opponent both pick some amount of battle tactics,
Mm-hmm.
3 or 4. All right,
Is it collective or you each pick three or four?
you each pick them, maybe secretly, maybe you have a way to pick them all alternating or something like that.
Sure. Okay.
And then during the game, those are the only ones available. And at the end of each turn, if you completed one of them, you take it. And now it's not available anymore for either player.
Oh, okay. So do you have to declare it? So like the same way that you would now, where it's like, oh, today I'm gonna get Savage Spearhead.
Maybe, maybe not. I envisioned it not,
Okay.
but that's like a knob you could play with.
And you can only
Which
claim one, right? Of course.
yeah. So the idea was you could only claim one.
Yep.
Um, runs into the obvious problem of well, if you go first, you you have an obvious advantage. So I was thinking, just you get 2 points if you complete it in the first half of the battle round, and 3 if you're second.
Okay, and then that would play into the do I want the double turn thing,
Do I want the double turn?
which is a problem too.
Can I steal it? If I take the double turn, can I steal a battle tactic that my opponent is good at getting? And so that's why I say it was um uh segueing good here because it's kind of like well my opponent's really good at doing this thing and I'm not as good, but maybe this turn I can do it and take it from them, and then they'll have a harder time later getting other ones.
Yeah.
And so you kind of
Honestly,
look for like more difficult things to do that your opponent's better at, so you can steal them from them, and then it's like way more interactive,
mm-hmm.
going back and forth.
Yeah. I like that a lot. And honestly, like I had a part in the show later about this, and I think it's a good time to kind of mention it now. Is we don't utilize the like the battle pack theme enough.
Hmm.
Like we only had like one active, and I guess we have like three now, and one of them's just like a narrative tint on like the first one.
Right.
Like we should be printing battle packs like crazy, and like that could be a theme of a battle pack, even if it's not every battle pack. Because I think there's going to be like a profile player that doesn't like that idea that you're sharing the same resources. But then like your
Oh,
tournament could
sure.
just decide like this is the one we want to do, or like you could just play it and like just
Yeah.
have different game modes. Like I
Yeah.
think it's a fantastic idea for a battle pack.
You can even just like I would see it more as like a game mode, like you said there. Like
Yeah.
you could honestly just play this way. Like you could in your next game each pick 4 battle tactics, put them on the table, and then just do it, and
Yeah.
then just and see how it plays. Like it would be very easy to. It doesn't. It would add more emphasis to that stage of the game. It would make it maybe take a little longer.
Yeah, it might
I
suck
think
for
it would add a
tournaments
lot.
if you have to squeeze them within 3 hours, and then add that whole bit of it. You know?
I think you could pick the 4 pretty quickly based on your army. You could even, if you want, you could have it be at list building time that you pick the 4, and then you
Oh,
reveal them,
okay. I like
right?
it. And if it
And then
overlaps, what do you do? Is it
yeah,
coup de grab?
so there's like two different. So I was thinking about that, and there's like two different things you can do, right? You can either just have two of them available because you
Mm-hmm.
both want it, right? And that'd probably be fine. But it could also be interesting to be like, well, now there's less battle tactics available overall
Yeah,
because you both pick the same one, so there's only one available for that one.
I like the idea that there's two of them in the pool now,
Sure.
but like that's something that needs to be played
Yeah,
before I can
exactly.
even like commit to any idea that one way or another there. I
Yeah,
really like that thought. I think there's play to it. And like the reason why like I say battle pack is because like I think battle packs and game modes are pretty interchangeable. And I like the
sure.
idea of still having match play options, but like with a different way to play match play and freshen things up like that.
hmm
And
You
like
might
I think
also
it
want it to be
belongs
a
in this
battle.
game. Yeah.
You might also want it to be a battle pack because you might want to like design different ones for it too,
Exactly. Yeah.
like that are more suited for that kind of play.
We should build that and like put it out to the world.
We totally should.
We should. Like I think we know enough what we're talking about.
We can probably make something fun.
Yeah, and like we could play
Playtesting
around
might be
with
a
it.
little hard.
We got to
I
learn
mean,
how to get tabletop simulator going.
I know, right?
Yeah, I think I would really like to do that. And like I
Oh, me
think actually this is the thing Tyler Emerson talks about a lot of there's not enough like community challenges out there. And I think this would be a great way to like put one of our ideas for a community challenge out there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Like I would
Yeah,
love to like get more engagement from like people on like this kind of stuff.
yeah.
I think yeah, like let's do that. Let's
Well,
build
let's just
that.
do it. Yeah.
Cool. I like that idea a lot. All right. Let's put a pin in that for now, but
Yep.
I have no issues with that. I think that's great.
It
Um
it could be a lot of fun, or it could suck. But you
yeah.
know what? Well, we'd find out by playing.
Mhm.
Play testing. Woo.
Exactly. Let's go over the the Galatian battle tactics real quick. Pick
Yep.
a terrain an opponent controls, control at the end of the turn. That's a good one. Pick an enemy unit, kill it with your general. I like this one a lot because if there's the opportunity cost of like making your general something that wants to fight to get this one, right? And then
Yep.
you're putting them in the fray of things.
Yep.
When that gets rid of the thing of like, oh, I have my general who's like a weird knob idiot hiding in the back to deny you from like killing him.
Yeah. It gets around that.
Yeah, and it like puts
Absolutely.
actual play into the general slot.
Yep.
I don't know if I love that it has to be with attacks. So like a spell couldn't do it, which gets around
Yeah.
like
Well, like
me
it
saying
doesn't
it
feel
needs to
like
be in
they're.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Although it
like that
does.
impact hits can't do it. Like if you charge in and you come with the impact hit, you don't get your tactic.
Yeah, it's kind of silly.
I don't
But that
like
might have
that.
been a little. So what they were probably trying to get around was
The
having
shooting
the
jump.
mage in the back.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
just like, haha,
Yeah, like
you
just
can't get to
Teclis
me, and
just hums
also
rocks all
zap.
over someone and like they die and he's like, "Cool, I got it."
Yep,
Yep.
exactly.
Yeah, so like I'm fine with it not being spells. I just wish like impact hits could get it because I think that's just such a silly. But it's such a
Yeah,
minutia like rules thing that it
yeah, it's
probably
like
was missed honestly, and I don't blame them.
yeah, it
It's
was
not
either missed
obvious.
or they were trying to think of a good solution, but there's no good way to reference impact hits, so they were just like, well,
Yeah,
oh well.
I think that's fair too.
Yeah,
It's a little annoying. And most generals don't have impact hits anyway.
right, exactly.
But like you can't do it with a monstrous action, for example, too.
Oh, correct.
And like maybe you should, but I
Yeah,
don't
that one
know.
I could see. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I that's one of those things I'll read in the book, and either way, I think I'd be fine with. But I don't know which way is better, technically.
yeah. It's
Hmm.
it's not bad.
Yeah, this one is kill a galley vet with a galley vet. I'm a little bit fine with that because everybody has galley vets in this army
Yep.
in this game now. But I'm just yeah. How much of the killiest units in this game are Galatian veterans? And with bounty hunters, probably a lot of them now. But
Yeah, that's true. because the
Hmm.
bounty hunters.
I want to
So
play with
like,
this one more before I like say for sure whether I think it's good or bad.
mhm,
But my instinct is I think it's good that they limited it, like as an opportunity cost of like, well, you got to bring galley vets to get this one.
right.
Yeah, and but like, yeah, you're doing the thing that you want to
But
do.
you're
Just
probably
kill
doing it
something.
anyway, so
Yeah.
it's kind of like, yeah, I don't know.
Hmm.
It's not my favorite one.
It's not my favorite one either. It wouldn't be in my ideal 8, but I don't think it's bad necessarily.
Sure.
Um, Pick an enemy Galatian veteran on a proving ground. Make sure there's no more enemy Galatian veterans on a proving ground. This is playing way too into the primary objective anyway.
Yeah, because that's what you want to do.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
there's some play on like if something was made a proving ground, and like the way, and it affects the one that you choose as the proving ground too.
Right.
I don't think there's enough there to justify it, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you.
But it's a step in the right direction rather than it just being conquer.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's got a little bit. It really still is just like win more though.
Yeah, it's still not good, I don't think. But I think it's better. And it's like
I
showing
mean,
that they're like looking at their game and then making it better, but they a little more here, I think.
yeah.
Next one is pick an objective on the field that you control, contest it with no enemy Galatian veterans testing it. The auto get turn one.
Yes.
This isn't the
Unless you're
worst
playing
thing.
the one that I played today,
Yep.
where there's only one in the middle and then you can't get it because your opponent already did it and you can't kill him off.
Yep.
But then it plays like it's supposed to play, right?
Yeah. And then it's a good one for that specific mission.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't think this one's the absolute worst thing in the world, and it might be better than hold hands with three guys and run in a straight line.
It probably is.
I
Yeah.
think it's a step up there, but I don't think it's much of a step up from that one. I would
Yeah.
not want to see this here, but again,
When they're
like,
super auto get, like,
yeah,
I don't
one
know.
low hanging fruit is not bad, but that is too low of a hanging fruit,
Yeah.
I
But
think.
also, like, they could have made one that, like, had an actual opportunity cost turn one. I don't know.
They could have, yeah.
Although I'm not sure how, though. We keep saying it, but I don't know.
One thing could
There's an
make you
example.
move backwards.
Yeah.
It's like a retreat.
See, my problem there, maybe. But does that just make the game less interactive, too? Like,
Um,
sure, it's an opportunity cost, but then there might be another problem with it.
yeah,
That's my thought.
that might be true too.
I don't know.
Yeah, but we got.
There's a lot to think about.
Mm-hmm. And like this is like take one too, right?
Oh, of course.
Like we're gonna think about a lot more of these, especially as we do our battle pack.
Yep.
Yeah. Um. There's just got to be something more to turn one, I think, in this game in general too.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Last two, Savage Spearhead, but with a bonus with Galatian veterans instead of monsters. I like Savage Spearhead. I still like it. Destroy an enemy unit. You can and control more objectives than your opponent. We talked about this one a little bit ago, and we were pretty high in this one because it forced you to do multiple things, even though they are playing into the primary aspect of the game.
Yeah. But I don't know. Actually, thinking about it a little more, I think it might just be win more, though.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
It
Because
is.
if you already control more objectives, you're not actually doing that bit. So then it's just destroying an enemy unit.
Yeah.
And then if you do, it's just win more, right?
Yeah.
Because you already control more, and you're killing your opponent,
Mm-hmm.
and like if you don't have, so like the ideal situation for this one in their minds probably when they were writing it was, oh, okay, so I have less, opponents, I have less objectives, and I go and kill that unit on that objective, and now I have more, and I did it, look at that, but like that's not usually the time you want to take that battle tactic, because like it's super easy if you're winning.
What if it was written in a
You get
way
it?
that you could only pick it if you currently controlled less?
Right, that would be better.
Yeah.
And then there's like the opportunity cost. Well, there's an opportunity cost there, like almost like the previous turn where you had to, like not take as many objectives, right, or
Yeah.
something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's more interesting.
Or it like makes you dive for like if you're on the back foot. to get it. You're like, shit, I gotta move them. I gotta move
What?
them or I'm losing. Well, all right, I pick it
Oh,
now.
well, what about like what about? So here's something we haven't talked about. Like, what if there was like use battle tactics as like a comeback mechanic too?
Uh huh.
So like instead of just like, oh, you get 2 points for completing any of these, what if some of them were way harder to do and you could only do them when you were behind,
And then
but
you
you
got
got more
more
points
points.
for it?
Yeah, that could be it too.
That could be interesting.
Yeah, that's
And then it
definitely a
would
lever to
keep
play
things
with.
closer longer, right? Because
Hmm.
like the more you're losing, you know.
Actually, think about it in like your format too, where you have a shared list and they're uniquely gathered.
Hmm.
What if there's exactly one of these? Like you picked it and you just gave an easy one to your opponent too, right?
That's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So there's like in your method, like some of these like easier to get ones actually are a liability.
yeah. Because it's like, well, they can just take this at any time from me,
Yeah.
and then maybe theirs are better for their army, and now I'm kind of screwed. Yeah,
Yep.
it does kind of solve that problem a little bit
Mm-hmm.
too.
So that's
Because then it's
interesting.
like, do I take the hard ones for me, or do I take the hard ones in general, or do I take some of the easy ones because I want the easy ones, but then my opponent can take them too? I don't know. We'd have to
Yeah.
play around with that because it might just end up being, well, you just take the easy ones anyway.
Yeah,
But
it
but
could
also
be.
maybe not. I don't know.
I think the way we'd have to do it is just build them with like certain armies in mind that are like clearly capable of doing it.
Yes,
Yeah.
and like you have to have like a few for each different army, and
Yeah.
then I think that would make it the most interesting,
Mm-hmm.
where you where brain, come on, catch up. Um,
Buffering.
where it's more about like eyeing your opportunities to steal one of your opponents,
Yes.
and potentially cutting them off for being able to do one. So so
Mm-hmm.
you end up on top.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it though. Like, this is gonna be fun.
Yeah, it definitely is.
And then the last one is if you lost a unit or more last turn, kill an enemy unit. Um this one's fine because I kind of like the idea of the like because this one's like you're doing what you want to do in the game anyway and there's no extra to it. But the reason why I think this one's kind of cool is because there's so many situations where people like go out of their way for like a long bomb charge and they make it and then they kill your thing and then they get ahead and like this one puts you in a perfect position to punish that.
Well, it actually does. It's almost exactly like what we were just talking about, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like the you can. I mean, it's not specifically straight up. You can only do this if you're losing, but it
Mhm.
has more of that feel to it because
If you're ahead,
if
it's
you're
really hard to get.
yeah, if you're like really winning, like you're not looking at this one because you haven't
Yeah.
been really losing units, right?
I would say this one's actively good.
I think I like this design space, yeah,
Yeah,
because like if you're losing units, it's like oh well now I can get this one. Like I would love to see this one like
more.
maybe be worth like the 3 points, right?
Yeah.
Like and like really have a comeback feel. Oh well, maybe not because then you could do like a little win more. Like as soon as you start catching up, then your opponent's like, ah, now I can get this battle tactic too.
So the
But
reason
then I
why
mean, if the game's closer, like
yeah, and
maybe that's okay.
another reason why I wouldn't like this one is I have like a screen unit that I no longer care about.
Oh
I
yeah, you just
I
kind of suicide it,
I feed
and
it to you. Yeah.
yeah, then you get the extra points. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Or it's like in the very specific case of Soul Blight, I'm like I need this thing to die anyway, so I'm going to screen it in such a way that you have to I'm just going to like run it up, put it in your face,
Yep,
and then you kill it and then I res it on my battle shock or your battle shock phase.
yep, yeah,
Which
that's
I
true.
mean that's very niche because that's one army.
Yeah, but that could be like good design. That could be like fun design space though, where you have this cool thing you can do
Yeah. Oh,
to
and
get
that's
that.
actually then we designed it for Soul Blight then.
Yeah, basically, like
Yeah.
that's like a good one for Soul Blight,
Yeah, okay. I'm on
which
board
is
again.
probably feels fine.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I like that then. Yeah, this one's just good.
I think it is. I
Yeah.
like that design space a lot better.
All right. And now we get it to the battle home specific grand strategies and battle tactics. You are ruining this game. Stop it. Is what I like to call this section.
Do you know
This
how many
is
times we've talked about this?
a lot. Yeah. Like every
A
time we
lot.
do a book review, We
We're
don't
like,
even actually reviewed the
stop.
fucking things. We're just like, these are terrible. Ban them.
Yeah, it's like,
And
please
like,
just stop using these.
so we should have a lot to say here, hypothetically.
We should have a lot to say, but probably a lot we've already said, and it's a whole lot of like, come on,
Yeah.
guys. Like,
Okay.
there's very obvious reasons that this is
Mm-hmm.
not a good idea.
Battletome specific tactics. These are objectively terrible. There's no if, ands, or but about it. It's not an opinion thing of like, oh, they're kind of cool. No, terrible. So there's 24 armies, 25 in this game, something along those lines, right?
Yep.
And every book has shown to have at least 6. So when all the books are out, that's 124 battle
They each have
tactics.
6 battle tactics?
I
Why
guess
was I thinking 3?
you're thinking Grand Strats.
Oh, shit. Do they really have 6 each?
Most of them have 6. Yeah.
Oh, my word.
Yep. So that's 124 battle tactics that you have to learn in order to play competitively. And like,
That's...
I'm not even talking about like the average player or like the I play on the kitchen table with my buddies. That's clearly too much for them.
Yeah.
That's clearly too much for us. I think it's clearly too much for even the most competitive players.
Yeah,
And
it's a barrier to entry, too,
yeah,
right? For competitive play. Like, having to digest all that information, like,
yeah,
it's just a bit much for, like,
yeah, and
such
like
small games,
you have
too.
to buy the book to know them usually.
Oh, that's true. You can't even just look them up, can
Yeah,
you?
or like you
Oh,
pirate
that's
them.
awful.
Yeah,
That's awful.
there's
Yeah.
so much
No,
wrong with that. Yeah,
that's so much wrong with that.
and like honestly, like if these were in like the narrative section, like that would be great, and that would be fine. But the problem with them being in like a competitive play section is if there's so many of them to learn, like I think every person in the world will be like, I'm just not going to learn them, and
Yeah, so I'm just not going to.
yeah, and I'm just going to focus on the ones that I can do. And then it becomes the problem of like, well, there's no counterplay to them because I'm just going to be like, oh, did you know that the Soul Blight have one that I get the battle tactic if you kill my battle line or a
Right.
summonable unit, right?
Yeah.
You probably didn't know that. You didn't know to play around that, and I charge you with my like dumbass fucking dire wolf that has like 1 wound on it,
Right.
and like you have to kill it, and there's like nothing you could have done about that.
Yeah.
So, oh well. Yeah. So have fun with that one, idiot. And like there's just so many of these. And also, if there's 124 of them, how do you make 124 good ones, right?
You don't.
Yeah.
We have a hard time coming up with like probably 5 or 6 good ones.
Yeah. So you're
Like,
just going to like clutter the game with crap.
yeah. And
Like
it's either going to be like too good or not good enough and totally useless, and
yeah.
then you
It's
like force people to like go over all of them to try to figure out, like,
yeah, you make
is
haves
this
and
one good?
have-nots. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's no way you cut this or it's fine unless you wanted to do goofy things in a narrative game.
Well, the thing is, don't narrative games not even use them?
Yes, yeah. Exactly. But like
Oh,
I
like
guess
it's like
yeah.
totally pointless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. And honestly, like I think an argument that people will say to me is but like it gives you like a fun like narrative twist on how to play your army. And like that's true, but the actual place to do that is in unique heroic actions or allegiance abilities. We already have that. We don't use
Yeah.
heroic actions nearly enough. Because that's something I don't love about this game either. You just have like the heal one and your hero's low. The finest hour is cool, but like it's only once per hero. And then most
Right.
of the time you're like, I'll get the command point, whatever. And
Yeah.
like the Fire Slayers book has like their heroic action that really changes how they play the army. And
It's
that's
really
like
interesting.
really sweet, yeah.
Yeah.
OBR is approaching that with like their White Dwarf update.
Didn't they wasn't one of the books that came out recently have a unique? Oh yeah, the Sylvaneth, right? Or was that a unique that was a unique monster section, never mind.
Yeah, they have a unique monster.
Wasn't...
Daughters of Cain had one.
Oh, okay.
Skaven had a unique heroic action too, right? And like that's the way to add to your game. Right? Like we already have like switches for this. We don't need it in scoring.
Yeah.
Like not at all.
It's because they're just like, because the other thing is they just don't add enough. They just don't add enough to the game for the complexity
No.
of like the the the, the thought of like having to figure out if you can do them and when you can do them, and
And I have 3 slides here talking about like why they detract from the game even.
right.
Right? So
Yeah,
there's 3 cases this happens, right? All of them suck. Like every um yeah, battle tome specific battle tactic is strictly worse than the ones in the book, right?
which
That's
has
case
happened.
A. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which honestly, by the way, is the most healthy interpretation of this, right?
Oh, probably because then you could just
Yeah.
ignore them.
Yeah. So if all of them have like very difficult guns to get over the core ones, you're just gonna go with the core ones, and then these are just ipsum lorem text. And it's like
Yes. And,
you killed a tree in the rainforest for crap,
yep.
and that's
Like what? Why did you bother?
yeah. I mean that's probably an exaggeration, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Like they don't
Oh
mean
yeah. Yeah.
anything if
Right.
they're weak, but like so like one example of a battle tome specific one I like is getting a great uncleaned one summon in Nurgle. And the reason
Right.
why I like that one is because it's not a list you'll like ever sanely build. But if you're
Oh,
like the guy who's like, I want to do that, and like I don't care if I win this game. My goal of this game is to summon the thing. There's
oh,
like an active mechanism in the game that rewards that, and like that's
true.
kind of hilarious and fun. But like it doesn't add enough to like
To
justify that.
Yeah, it doesn't add enough to actually justify it
Yeah,
being there.
and by the way, I'm gonna talk about the grand strategies in the books being fine if they're limited and they're crap like that, right?
Right.
That's gonna be cool. That's the best outcome. This is the best outcome, and it's bad easily, right?
Right.
Like, you have anything to add to that?
No,
Yeah,
I'm not gonna have much to add to this conversation. I feel like you're gonna just say
I'm
true things, and I'm gonna be like, "Yep,
yeah, I'm gonna go on my like Fox News esque rant about it. Nah, I shouldn't say it like that, but my angry rant. Let me put it that way.
I know what you mean."
Yeah. All right. Case B. All of them are good. Every book, they're just bangers. All killer, no filler. Right?
Yeah.
You get 5 of them every game.
Right.
You have a selection of 14. You get all 5. This
Yeah.
means that
Guess
both
what?
sides will have all 5. Which
And
means
and
why are
then
we
there.
doing this?
Well. Oh, you're saying for every book they're all weak or they're all powerful or
Yeah.
whatever.
Case
You're not
B.
talking book to book. That's
No.
the last slide, isn't it?
Yep.
Yep. All right. Yeah, we'll get there eventually.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agree.
But like, yeah, if they're all good, then these are pointless. They
Correct.
add nothing to the game except for like upkeep, and we can
Yep.
totally do without that.
We can do without the upkeep.
Yeah, and like it literally adds nothing to this game.
Yep.
And then KC, a mix of strong and suck, is like. So this is the world we live in right now, by the way.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, the bad one. So that means some armies will get 5 without much effort, and some will struggle to get their 3 to 4. That means
And the
that
biggest
yeah,
the biggest problem is they took their knob for like making it interesting and like making some more difficult or not, and just like totally messed it up.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like yeah, if they're too hard in the main book, and then the book that has like the good ones still has the good ones, they're just going to be completely uniquely poised to take advantage.
Right. Exactly.
Like absolute, like no question about it.
Yeah. And then they're gonna win the close games because they can get all the battle tactics.
Yeah, and it's just going
Yeah.
to be like okay, so like this army is good at getting battle tactics is their strat, and
Yeah.
like
And as
there's
long
going to
as
be
they're
armies
like
that are good at that because of like their core rules, not because the book says I get extra points for getting this like brain dead move forward strat with no opportunity cost.
right.
Yeah, like the Daughters of Cain one, right? Like charge with 3 Witch Elves unit. Okay, charge with my battle line. I got 3 points for that. Yes, cool.
Yes.
Yeah, like the
Like
Daughters of Cain one
3 points.
is especially egregious to me.
It is.
Um,
I don't disagree with you at
yeah, and
all.
like that's the point where it's like these really should be banned. And I
Yeah.
know my buddy Brian who plays Daughters is. I don't hate on you, man. You're a good buddy, but like that's bullshit. Come on.
It sucks though to be
Yeah,
like, hey, daughters player, your things are bullshit. You know that, right?
yeah. Like I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to
Exactly.
even have
But
this conversation.
yeah, but the
Yeah,
problem is it's true.
yeah.
Very true.
Like objectively, like It's not even like your army's better at killing shit than mine, therefore yours is broken.
It's just
Like
you
yours
just
gets
have these
more points
rules
than
that say
mine.
you get more points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this is mathematically true. Oh well.
That's actually a really interesting way to think about it. Because
Yeah.
like you could get like let's say you could get to a point, right, in any army
Mm-hmm.
that's they could technically write in the book, if you move your general, you score 50 points,
Yeah.
right? That's something they could do in
Yeah.
theory.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously that army's going to win every time.
Yeah.
Like regardless, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just because that's an insurmountable amount of points.
Yeah.
When you take it to the logical extreme, like anytime you're putting stuff into the game that just gives out extra free points,
Yeah.
they're just getting closer and closer to the logical extreme of, well, I can't actually beat them, and not because I can't kill them all or play the objective better, but just because they get points for no reason.
Yeah. And
Right?
I've heard the counter argument too from people being, well, that's like a different lever of balancing, right? They have these units that they think they're underpowered, and therefore if you make them score better, they'll have value. No. Wrong. We have a mechanism for that, and it's called like unit points.
Yeah. Just change the points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Just make them
rewrite the
cheaper.
war scroll or whatever you want to do, but like making them worth more points is not the lever to turn whatsoever
Yeah, I
in
don't
this
think
game.
so.
Yeah. And like yeah. And like I'm pretty open minded, but like this like I thought about this for like over a year now. Like there's no way, right? There's
Yep.
no way this is the correct call.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's as salty as I'm gonna get about this, but yeah. I think if you're a TO, you're out of your mind if you don't ban these.
Out of your
You're
mind.
just
We're
out of your
we're
mind.
calling you out.
Yeah. Maybe that's a little harsh. But yeah, I'm excited to see the comment section in this video and see like how many
Agree.
people we aggravated with this. But like,
I mean, we get on average one or two comments, so maybe they'll be very aggressive and be a TO, and they'll be like, "I'm not out of my mind. Here's good reason why these are good," and we'll
okay,
be
you know
like,
what? I'm willing to
"Okay,
hear. I'm willing to listen to that. I'll put it out that
yeah,
way. Out of my mind was like me just being hyperbole for a bit, and I'm sorry
oh
if I
yeah,
hurt your
we,
feelings. I didn't mean to.
uh,
I just
oh
wanted to be
hello,
goofy.
hello AOS coach, how's it
AOS
going?"
coach, hey,
That was 10 minutes ago. Well, we got on a rant. Sorry,
God,
but hi. I
yeah,
hope you're still there.
man, I love your stuff by the way. Thank you for dropping by. That's awesome, man. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's you. Do you watch his stuff, Bill?
Um,
You should.
I should.
I know you're
We'll
not a
go with
big
that.
YouTube guy, but yeah, I'll take a
I
look.
actually watch. I actually watch a lot of YouTube, just different
Not
YouTube.
AOS YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a Let's Play guy, but yeah, you should check him out. He's awesome.
Yeah.
That was 10 minutes ago, though. Sorry, Coach.
Yeah. Exactly.
We're atrocious at the chat.
Oh, we are. Oh, hey.
Yeah,
Oh, great.
I feel the salt from
Feel the-
Australia.
Nice.
So I'm just curious. Like, do you agree with us? And like, I'd even welcome if you're like, no, you're wrong. I want to know why we're wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd very much like to know.
All right. And how to fix this glaring issue? Like, if we just have to keep this up, is the next slide. Battletone specific grand strategies only. Take the battle tactics, jettison them into the ocean. Just get them out of here. Launch them into the sun. Do whatever you need to do. Get them out.
Are we sending him to Australia?
No. Well,
Oh, we don't want to do that to AOS coach. All right.
no. He's a good guy. He doesn't need that
All right.
negativity in his life. Unless he wants to like burn them himself, then he can. Yeah. So. And
Anyway.
I like the idea of every book having one grand strategy that like really goes out of the way to spell out the lore of the army,
Mhm.
and like not even designed in any sort of competitive mindset. And like that's going to lead to a problem where one of these is probably just going to be way better than the rest of them from the core book, right?
Right.
But if it's just one, it's not ideal. But like it's fine, I guess. Do you
Yeah,
agree?
but you have a
Disagree?
little more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably better to not have them.
But I get
at
why they
all.
want
But
them
like,
there because I think they wanted like because at the end of the day, the people who make this game are Timmys, and we're Timmys for playing it because we love the big epic moments, right?
oh sure,
And I think they want to design like battle tactics that like get that Timmy feel going.
yeah,
And like I think that's fine. And like I think so yeah, let's just talk about like the stuff that I had here as an idea for Grand Strats. Another thing too is we didn't really mention this specifically, but I would like to make Grand Strats like increment per turn. Oh, we did mention this specifically, yeah. So like you get a point at the end of each battle round instead of like 3 at the end. So you could
I
get
do
up
like
to
that
5 of
idea
them.
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like let's talk about a little bit. So I had 3 here, and at the end it says, admittedly, these are very hard to write. So the Nurgle strategy is you get victory points based on the most expensive unit you summoned. So like if you summoned a Great Unclean one, you get 5. And if you summon like a Beast of Nurgle, it could be 2. I don't know what the numbers are to be correct here,
Mhm.
but you want to, the whole idea is that you want to summon, and you get rewarded at the end of the game for your best summon. So you can summon it as early as turn 2, and then you could work for a bigger one. It falls into the little bit of like it only matters at the end problem here, but it's not all or nothing is what I'm trying to get at, right? What do you think of that one?
Oh no, I think that one it could be fun, right?
I think it could be
So
fun, and that's all we're trying to do here.
looks like AOS coach said, I think by the next General's Handbook 22 Season 2, every faction should have battle tactics, and they could pull back on the battle pack battle tactics and make them even harder or less offering than now. Last weekend I played Gits and have no faction battle tactics, so my game is a lot harder than my opponents. We got find no battle tones coming in Remainder 22. Yeah, Daughters of Cain's battle tactics is incredibly easy. Most don't have as generous menu. Yeah, I think that, I mean that's basically what we're saying there.
Yeah,
I thought all of the factions at least had the battle tactics. Didn't they come
no,
out in like
because
Dwarf?
we don't have a Gloomspite Gitz or an Ogres or a Zinch or a Lumineth.
Oh, that's right,
Come
because
Celestial.
those are the ones that are coming out, right?
Yep.
Oh, because of the
Yeah. So
yep,
they don't have those yet, but
yeah.
everybody else does. Yeah. And like, yeah, that's another lever they could pull too, where they just put less in the core one. I think that's the wrong lever to pull entirely, but I could see them doing that.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably a step. I don't know. I don't like that one as much, just because I don't like people not working on the same playing field that way. And then like
I-
the Daughters of Cain one is already bullshit, right?
Yeah.
And like I can't imagine. So like if like they're not as much in the books, and you're trying to tell me that the Daughters of Cain one should keep up with the Cruel Boy ones, or like the Cruel Boy one should keep up with the Daughters of Cain one. You're just gonna have
Right.
armies that are just better because they have better battle tactics to score.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I respectfully disagree with that. I think, and that's fine. I think that's
All
good
right,
even.
Alex.
Yeah.
I've been showing it off. Here you go. What do you
I
think?
was looking at him a little bit. I love the colors. He's kind of like a peacock.
I just kind
Ah,
of went crazy with like uh just like bright colors
I like
and
the
just
idea
like
that that guy's trying to hide.
yeah, right.
I love it though. Yeah, he looks great.
I really like I know it's been done a million times, I'm sure, but like I love
Mm-hmm.
the idea of Corvus Cabal being like just totally opposite of like
What they
what
should be.
they
Yeah.
what they should be. Yeah, just being like super bright colored and
Mm-hmm.
like bouncing all over the
They're
place
really
in
cool.
brightly colored outfits and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
But yeah, at the end of the day, though, I think like if they reduced the amount in the battle tactic or in the uh, battle packs and like kept them to the book ones a little bit more, like I think that's fine-ish. I think there's still a lot of problems tied to that. At the end of the
yeah,
day, yeah,
yeah, I think it's because like it adds scoring into the books that
yeah.
doesn't feel like it should be there. Because like
Mm-hmm.
I guess like I like my logical extreme argument, right, is that they they could print something that's just like it doesn't matter how good this
Yeah, what if Malarian's elves come out and they're better than daughters at scoring, right?
yeah, and it does it's like it doesn't matter how good this army is
Yeah,
at like playing the game. They could just have stuff that's worded that's like I just score more points so I win,
I totally
right?
feel your pain though of you not having them and your opponent does is one of
Oh,
the worst
absolutely.
feelings in the game too.
Yeah.
Yep,
I think we just kind of have like opposite ideas of like we're thinking like just no one should have them, and that would solve that problem.
as opposed to
And
everybody
your
should.
thought is that everyone should have them eventually, so that it's
Yeah,
not a problem.
and I'm sure that's like the design philosophy too. But yeah, yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see like what the whole world's opinion on is on that. All right. Oh, we had more Grand Strats to talk about too. So I put one for OCR Bone Reaper. And I shared this one with
Oh yeah.
you, and I know you weren't huge on this one, but I just want to share it anyway. So the idea is each battle round an enemy died within 18 of the Bone Tithe, they score a victory point. And then part of that was you're already incentivized to stay out of the range of the Bone Tithe, and this just pushes it more. So the thought I had would be to invert the range so it affects things outside of 18 or 36 instead of within, to try to force people to want to be within the Bone Tithe to dodge the negative.
Dodge the abilities there.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess that's the part that I wasn't as high on.
yeah, exactly. Because you don't like the idea of changing the war scroll based on a battle tactic, so you have to remember two different things based on if they have it or not.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
that's kind of my idea there. But I mean, I think there's other ways to solve the problem. You could just reword the grand strategy a little bit to be more like um within like so many inches of a general,
Okay.
your general, or
So, and let's
so
say in a
close to
world
like a hero or something.
hypothetically, they changed the bone tithe to just always be inverted. That would be fine then.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
You
it does
just
seem weird to like force your opponent into the bone type area.
well,
I don't
isn't
know.
that the lore? It was like you pay the bone tithe or you get punished.
Oh, I suppose.
Yeah,
Or you
I get
stay
it.
far, far away.
Yeah, it's a weird design space.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're not
I,
loving it. Yeah.
it could be fine. I'm not saying it wouldn't be fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my favorite, but
Yeah.
it's also not bad.
This is about ideas anyway too.
Yeah, I think it might just be better as just like because you say that the heroes are collecting the bone tithe, right, or something like that,
Yeah.
because they're the ones
Okay.
leading it,
We can
and so
workshop it.
you
Yeah.
just make it within like the range of the leaders instead, and then I think that's like perfectly fine and fun.
Mm-hmm. Like within 12 inches of a. Oh, what if it was like how the generals work too? Where it's like 12 inches of a
Yeah,
hero
how
or
much is the hero?
18 inches of a
18.
general.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, that could be
And then
cool.
it's easier to remember too because it's consistent.
Yep. All right. I'm fine with that, but I just like the idea of like making the grand strat actually about collecting the bone tithe, which the
Yeah,
whole
all right.
army, like 50 pages of that book tell you to collect the bone tithe, and there's not a
And then
single
there's
rule.
no way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, that is
Yeah.
kind of funny.
Okay. Um, and then the last one I had was Soulblight Gravelords. And every time, or yeah, at the end of each battle round, if they successfully reanimated a unit with their Endless Legions ability, they got a point. So the idea here is that you get two bites at the apple every battle round to get the 5 up. Still very swingy, and not a very powerful one. But like the idea is that you want to be reanimating as much stuff as possible, and it incentivizes a play pattern where you're throwing away your summonables.
Yeah, that's
Right?
so. Yeah, like you're trying to like throw your stuff away to get more stuff to get stuff back as much as possible,
For your
and
battle
like
tech
really like
or your grand
leaning
strat.
into that real
Yeah,
hard.
exactly.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah,
want these to like force a specific play style.
right.
Where the general handbook ones are just like the cut and dry go to ones for competitive play. And I think that's the way that you make these acceptable for these books. It's just make
Yeah,
them
that's
fun and fluffy and limited.
right. No, I can agree with that.
Yeah, and I think Grand Strats, or yeah, Grand Strats being tome specific is not as egregious because you don't have to know all of them. They just tell you the one they pick, and then you just commit that one. And you can
Yeah,
play
then you
around
can
with
just
one thing
like
for a
you can just
game.
pay attention to it, right? Like
Yeah,
you can be like, oh, they're trying to do this. Okay,
and like that's
I can
actually a good way to add variety to the game too.
right.
Yeah, like one or two, no more than that. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Galatian Battle Pack impressions. I don't know why I should have deleted this slide because we talked
All
about
right,
them way
moving on.
earlier. Yep.
Yeah, we
But
talked about it a
overall,
lot.
we talked about it a little bit. We like These are better, but they're a little bit win more. And battle tactics are definitely way better than the previous one. I think it says Galatian veteran a little too much, but that's fine.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Um, Actually, before we jump into like the battle pack that I wrote for my idea, I just wanted to say something too about battle packs in general. And I think a huge problem with like Thondia one was like all about monsters and killing monsters, and you were very incentivized to bring a very specific list. And your army's power wasn't necessarily how good your army was, it was how good your army was playing at the battle pack.
Mhm.
Which that begs the question is do we not use enough battle packs? Is the problem that there's only one? And like if you had multiple, like we could hypothetically hold a tournament back in Thondia because we just wanted to focus on the monster meta, right?
Right.
And then the next tournament you go to could be a Galette one.
Yep.
Yeah, so
You
I
you could bring like totally different lists based on that.
yeah.
It like keeps up the variety and
Yeah, so we had like one hyper focused battle pack for a year. And like is the problem that we just don't have enough of these things and we should be having a lot more of these things?
so it's almost like I think that so that reminds me of like of um games that have seasons
Yeah.
and that they like change things up. So
I guess this is a game with seasons now. Yeah.
I mean yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Like Path of Exile is an
Yeah.
example that comes to mind where if you go too long with them, like everything gets figured out, right?
Yeah.
But or you know what a better example is Magic. You
Standard.
go
Yeah.
too long in it. You go too long in a set with Magic, and everything's just figured out, right?
Yeah.
But if it's constantly changing, there's always new, interesting work to do to figure out what's going to be good now, like what's the best thing to take,
Yeah.
and that just makes it more interesting. And if like you have a bunch of battle packs you have to choose from, and like if there's a way to like like have it change up frequently or new ones are coming in all the time, and maybe you have to play a bunch of different ones. So the problem there, I guess, is that's a lot to learn,
It's a
which we
breakneck
also
speed
are a
for
problem.
casual players, I think is the problem. Right?
Yeah,
Like I was thinking about it, right? Like if they're doing 6 month seasons, oh, I gotta glue your hand back. And like you play once a weekend, or like twice a month.
yeah,
You get one game with each battle plan before the new book comes out.
it's true.
Isn't that a little fast for people who don't do tournaments? Is the problem?
Probably
Yeah, but is that actually that much of a problem? Like you get the book, you play the missions you think look cool, get the new one, you can go back, nobody's stopping you.
right.
It's hard to say. But there's
Yeah,
definitely like especially in 40K that I don't pay that much attention to. Like crap changes so fast for me there. It's like I don't even know it's a good list anymore. I'm gonna stick
yeah.
to this game.
So that is an interesting point though, because you'd have to like really be on top of things to know like what's good right now,
Yep.
and that adds even more stuff. So maybe it's not a good thing to have more of these.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I wish they like front loaded these a little bit, right? And like we had like three different ones, and it's like we have like a monster one and a galley vet one, and then maybe we'll have like a cavalry one or a wizard one or whatever the hell, right?
Hmm.
And then we just have like three of these for like 2 years, and then you just different tournaments pick the ones they like, and then you rifle through them and
It
like
probably makes
shuffle and like recycle them and stuff.
yeah. So another thing it probably does though is makes balancing harder
Yeah, absolutely.
because like I think there are units that are different point values based on what
Battle
season
pack. Yeah,
what battle pack you're playing, right?
that's true. And then you have to like
But
learn different ones.
maybe that's a well no, I wouldn't ever suggest like actually putting different points costs
Yeah, I
over
don't think
them.
that's a bad. I think that's a
But
bad idea. Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
I don't know. There might actually be a lot of problems to having more. The more I think about it, because then I was like, well, if you play in like a different thing, then you have to bring different units or whatever. But then like that alienates people that are like, I have an army
Yep.
and that's it. I don't have the option to like
Oh,
make a
great
whole bunch
point.
of different stuff,
That's a great
right?
point. No, not
So
everyone's me. Winter
yeah, or me.
Titan. What's going on,
Hey.
buddy? Oh man, we're going on our rant here about battle tactics.
Yeah.
We're having a great time. I'll put this on YouTube later. Everybody can
And
see it.
here's my guy. And also,
Here's
since you
mine.
weren't here from the beginning of the
Oh.
show, I have a new lens. You can probably tell that you can actually see this guy better. That's
Mm-hmm.
pretty cool. See?
Yeah. I'm pretty happy with
Exciting.
the Vermin Lord so far. There's a lot to go, but he looks cool. Yeah.
We're having fun.
We're
doing
having a great time.
doing a little show here.
Yeah. Thank you for the tier 1. For the nice 250 right in the pocket.
Heck yeah.
Alright, so let's talk about my battle pack and my ideas I had here.
Yep.
So, I wanted one more Grand Strat, but like my mind was just coming blank.
That's okay.
So we'll learn to live with it. All right. So the first one, sever the head. At the end of each battle round, you kill an enemy hero, you get 1 VP.
Oh, okay.
There's an obvious problem with that, where Stormcasts bring 2 to 3 heroes, and Nighthaunt brings 6, right?
Sure.
So
Yep.
like some armies, like you're just gonna be horribly disadvantaged because you picked this one.
See, this is when it would be better to be a video game where you can just be like, you get points based on the percentage of the enemy heroes killed,
Yeah.
and like when you hit 100%, you get 5 points, but you get like some amount of points throughout, and like a
Oh,
video game can just be like, you have this many now, and you don't even need to worry about it, right?
here's an idea, right?
Yeah.
If like, let's say turn 3, you killed every hero. Turn 4, if they begin the battle round with no heroes, get a point. So like if you kill
There
all
you
of them, you'll
go.
start getting your points still.
Okay, actually, that's pretty good. So
Yeah.
if they bring less, yeah,
Yeah. That might
it,
I
it's
don't
it might
know.
suck. It might suck against like an Archeon though,
Yeah.
where you're not gonna kill that thing for a while.
But like I don't think it's a problem that some of them just like there's like some list to beat them
That's true.
necessarily.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But like we just want to minimize that, but like if it happens at all, I think it's probably even good. We just don't want a
yeah.
lot of
I,
it.
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Second one, War of Attrition. Each battle round you kill more units than you lost. Um I'm not in love with this one because I think like pure shooting lists are going to like have a field day with that.
Kill more units. Well,
I think there's something
maybe.
there, right? And like that might be fine, but like this is one I would want to play. And then if it just feels awful, you cut it.
I mean, it might not even be bad though. I don't know if
It could be good.
necessarily.
Yeah.
I don't know if necessarily a shooting list would have an easier time. Like, let's say like the armies are balanced. Like okay, if the shooting army's overpowered, they're obviously just going to do better, right?
Yeah.
But
I think
if
I know where you're
the
getting at. Yeah.
yeah, but if it's balanced, like the melee, yeah, sure, you might get some points in the beginning of the game, but then you might not at the end of the game when you start losing all your guys to the melee
Yeah.
boys, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Also, there's a point too of like, I brought long strikes. They're 240 points of 6 wounds. I have the power to kill them. I kill them, and then I touch nothing else. So like you got an advantage of being able to shoot like a really good thing off. But
Hmm.
like I have an advantage here if I was able to kill your very weak per point unit, right? So maybe
Yeah,
that's
I don't
fine.
think it's bad.
I think there's play here.
Yeah.
I'm just saying like those are my initial concerns with that one.
Oh, sure,
And
sure.
like they could be completely unfounded, but yeah. This one, Messengers of Fate. I got really sneaky here. So you pick 2 units secretly. If one of them ends the game on the opposite end of the board, score 2 points. If both of them are there, score 5.
Ooh.
So like this has the problem that I talked about where the end of the game matters a lot more for these battle tactics. But like I
There's
like
at
the
least
idea of
like some
secrecy.
play
Yeah.
because then your opponent's like, it's like, ooh, he's moving them up but not charging them, or
Yeah.
he's like charging them way back. Maybe I should focus on them because those are probably the secret units. And
Yeah.
there's like a little mind game and like a
I
little
think
extra.
there's
Just
something
play
to it.
throughout because you have to accomplish it as you go.
It might be a fun puzzle to solve.
Right.
Was my thought. And like I have a feeling like I could just put like 2 idiots of bat swarms flying up the side, and then they're not the messengers of fate here.
Yeah.
And you go out to kill them because you're like, what is he doing with these 2 morons? Right?
Right.
I think there's fun there. I don't know if it's powerful, but I think there's a lot of fun to be
It
had.
would definitely make the game a little different because then you also have to consider that with everything else, right? And like
Yeah.
weigh the benefits of like, well, he looks like he's going to get those guys to the end, and they may or may not be the guys. But if I kill off his other guys that are actually doing something, like that's probably more important for the now.
Or even if
And
they are
yeah,
the messengers of fate, like I made you take a turn, one of your precious 5 turns dealing with them.
yeah. Or you
Yeah,
don't deal with them
and I
and
get my
claim
points.
that you can have your points, but I'm going to. But you wasted your turns by just sending them doing nothing.
Yeah,
And therefore I'm now going to just win because I just have more stuff.
yeah. I think there's play here,
Yeah.
but I could see this being the one that's never taken in the battle pack too, which is
Oh,
fine.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, tactical purge. At the end of each battle round, score 1 VP if more table quarters don't have enemy units than do.
I'm just rereading it.
Yep. So at the end of the turn, you control 3 table quarters basically, or like yeah, there's no enemies in table quarters. Yeah.
What if it was a counting thing instead? Like you had more units or something like that
Okay. Yeah.
in enemy quarters.
Hmm.
And then it would like cause you to like break up a little bit more. And it's still only worth like 5 points at the end, but 5 points is like a like
Yeah.
that's actually like hefty chunk, right? So like
Hmm. Spreading thin is usually a pretty big opportunity cost.
yeah, exactly.
So
That's actually exactly what I was thinking
maybe you're
there.
right. My idea was just like it gave you a goal of like I'm gonna kill everything that touches this quarter of the table,
Right.
and like it would make you sacrifice other quarters just to. Yeah, but you can't even like focus on it either
Yeah, because it's kind of hard to like wipe out
because you'd have to
everybody.
focus on 3, so that's not
Yeah,
good. Yeah.
and if like someone just plops the guys in the middle, right,
Yep.
and then like and has guys on the edges a little bit, like I think you could too easily play
So
around
you
it.
can
But I
make it
think
if you
more
control
models,
more.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm fine with that change. Change the name too because that doesn't make sense anymore. But
fair enough.
yeah, I think that's great. And then the last one, like I was really scraping the barrel right here.
All right,
It's
what do we
called
got?
Rampager. At the end of each battle round, score 1 victory point if you destroyed a terrain feature. And the only way I can think of doing that right now is the monster's action, just running around crushing buildings for fun. But like Severed can do
Smash.
it, yeah. But like if that's something like if they
uh,
designed for this, they could like put more elements of terrain breaking
yeah,
in a game, and like it's doable. I'm not
that
in love
one's
with this.
interesting. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, okay, why can't there just be four? Like, what's wrong with four?
I just wanted more options, and they had
Oh, fair
6
enough.
naturally, but I don't know. Like, is a bad option better than a no option? So like we
I
could
don't
just
think
have
so.
4.
In
Yeah,
fact, I actively think less options, but all of them being better is way better than having more options that are Issimalorum,
and
right?
the Sylvaneth book proved that with like their 4 command traits that were awesome, and we loved
Right.
that section more than like most books that had like a bunch. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I there might be play with there, not now, but like I don't know.
Yeah, and it's certainly possible that we could come up with
And like
other
we
good
might
ones
want to
or
have
like,
one that incentivizes wizards too.
oh
You
yeah,
know?
probably.
Yeah, like you cast more spells.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, cast
No.
more spells might be too easy.
Yeah,
That's just
that's what I
like
was
a look, I
thinking.
did it every time.
Yep.
Yeah, there needs to be a little more back and forth, probably.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know, but like that's
Spells
a
are spells
start.
are an odd beast, though.
Yeah. It's like you either suck or you're way too good at them.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah,
Um.
you can't have like opposing like magic because then it's either like just too good or
Yeah.
like nothing at all. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Hey,
That one's
there's.
an interesting one to think about, like how to do a good magic one.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, though, I like this idea a lot better because
Like
it's
scoring every
almost
turn.
like a it's like a mini battle tactic, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like one that stays the same the whole time. But you're still like scoring
Yeah.
points each turn for the most part, except for the one.
Yeah.
But the idea is still generally the same at the end
Mm-hmm.
of the day.
Absolutely. Yeah. I like it.
I
Yeah,
do like
I
these.
don't
These
hate
are
it.
fun.
Encourages list diversity. Yeah, there's some good ones here. And I just like I thought it'd be cool to have like a monster specific one too that didn't just say have more monsters than your opponent,
Yeah, you need to like
but like
come up with
maybe there's
something a little more
better.
interesting, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because most of the time the terrain doesn't matter. Or maybe it could be like carry out like at least two different monstrous actions or something like that. I don't know.
I don't know. Because you can't make because it the trick is you need to have counterplay, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like you
But
don't
like,
really
I
with
mean,
monstrous action.
is there any reason to like encourage specific units though?
We were talking about that might be a good lever. I think that's way more in the battle tactics though than the grand strats. So you could be right. There's probably not a great reason.
I don't know.
Something to
Yeah,
think about.
in the great in the strats, it might be more interesting, but here,
That's
like
not.
I guess you don't always need the lever that lever. I don't know.
And maybe you only
I'm just
stick
saying
to
that.
four if you're gonna put more in the books too, right? Or keep the ones in the books in this hypothetical world we're making, right?
Right? Yeah, yeah.
All right, all right. You convinced me. We can go to four. And then battle tactics that I put down here. I put Slay the Warlord because I like that one, but I'm fine with like that ever being anything else too. And this was I wrote these before the Galatian battle or General's Handbook. So
Mhm.
I called this one Lead by Example, but it's known as This One's Mine, which is pick an enemy unit and kill it with your general by the end of the turn. I think that one's actually very good, and it puts a list building incentive.
Yep.
Yeah, commanding.
It puts a list building incentive to put your general out there as opposed to just hiding him in the back.
Yep,
Yep.
exactly. I really like that one, and I'm glad they like put that in the core rule somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. Anyway, next one is commanding presence. You complete this battle tactic if a single hero issued three or more command abilities in a turn. So the logic here is that like you needed to either go second or have your heroic action get you that point, right? And then you just need to burn your points, and then
Oh,
you won't have
oh,
them on your turn.
right. Yes. I was like, you can't do that though. You can only use one. But no, no, you can use one in each phase, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So you're like, I'm gonna at the double this guy. I'm gonna reroll his charges, and I'm gonna whatever, right?
Right.
So like it forces you to burn your points with a guy that you're forced to be up in the action because he needs to be in range to hit all of them.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that's an interesting way of like forcing someone to spend their resources to try to get points,
and
which
positioning.
and positioning. Yeah.
Yep.
No, I think that I like that one a lot. That one does a lot
So
of like interesting things.
that was my thought there. Savage Spearhead I put in because I really like that one to pay off for teleporting and quick armies that normally have killing trouble.
Savage Spearhead just remind me that one's take two objectives, right?
That's put two guys in your opponent's territory.
Oh, okay, okay. I got the wrong one.
Yeah,
Clearly.
because I want it to be not objective based terrain control. I want it or board control. I just want
Right.
it to
Yep.
be unattached board control, which is good.
Yep.
Vital grounds. Pick a terrain in an opponent's territory. Control it at the end of the battle round. That's another one they put in the new book.
They did. Yeah, they
Yep.
did. That's funny.
Yeah. So a little bit of backstory. Bill and I were supposed to do this before the new battle tomes and the General's Handbook review. I got very sick with my colitis, and you had a little COVID incident, so we
Oh
got
yeah.
very sick, and we
Yeah.
couldn't do it. So like this
Yeah,
show's
we were
been
both
like
like
on the back burner for like a long time.
yeah. Yeah, we're getting to this after like
Yeah.
many weeks. And then we had all those book reviews that we wanted to do instead, right?
Yep.
So
And
like
I'm very
the
happy
show
with
got
those, but
the
like
show got super backburned.
yep,
But here we are.
here we are. And then so yeah, Vital Grounds we discussed that we like that a lot or whatever they call it. Desecrate their lands. Yep. Um this one's a different one. Silent Observation. At the end of the turn, complete this battle tactic if you issued one command in the combat phase and no other phase. So let me talk to you
Ooh.
about why it's written like this. So my thought was like the opportunity cost here is you don't spend the command points, you don't interact, you don't have a big turn.
Yep.
But then what happened is, turn one, I pick this one. I just move my guys up a little bit. Go ahead, I got it. So the reason
Oh
why
yeah.
I made it so you have to do it in the combat phase too is because I wanted you to have to commit a unit to combat or keep a guy inside combat and
Hmm.
then actually spend a point there
Right. So it's not just
to
the
prove
like,
that you're
look,
in
I did
combat.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a very. I was actually curious. Why isn't it just like just send a command point? Why is it specifically? Yeah, it makes sense.
So I think in a vacuum it just seems like a random stipulation for no reason.
It does, but no, it makes sense when you put it that way.
Yeah, so that's why I did that.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a better way to do that. I just wanted it to. It could even just say like spend no command points and have a unit in combat. But I didn't want it to be like if you sent the unit in and it got killed, you don't get it anymore. But maybe it should be.
Oh, I know. I think I like how you wrote it because
Okay.
it's again gives an opportunity cost because like you can't use other command abilities for that turn.
Yep. And part of me wanted to make it only all out defense, but I thought that might be too restrictive.
I don't think there's any reason not to allow uh, all out
Yeah,
attack.
exactly. Because like you're already putting one thing in combat and you're only allowed to only use one, so
I mean,
I
I
don't want
think
too
all
many
out
things.
defense is probably the
What you're
most
gonna
likely
do.
one you'd want to use anyway. So
Yeah.
like, I don't think there's any reason to
Mm-hmm.
restrict. Well, I mean, maybe if you want to be restrictive, you have to use all out attack type of thing.
That's another thing too. That the reason why I worded it this way is because I pictured the use case of you do this, you charge in, you kill the thing you charge, and now you don't get your point because you did too good. That would suck.
Right. That would suck.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't even have the opportunity to use all that defense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I think it's fine as is. I actually really like it as is.
Yeah, I want to play with that in our little battle pack when we make that.
Yeah.
Sound the alarm. Pick this battle tactic if all of your units are outside of your territory. You complete this if more than half of your units are back in your territory at the end of the turn. It's a retreat.
It is a retreat.
Yep.
That's interesting.
Um, I feel like what's going to happen with this one is there's going to be some turns. Like, I feel like the obvious play pattern here, right, is just to turn one, put your guys just outside of your territory, and then, like, turn two, like, nudge some guys back.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know if that one's actually interactive, but it seemed like a low hanging fruit one to get that you have to set up for a couple turns, actually.
What if it was in your opponent's territory and then no, it's too hard to get into your opponent's territory, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Unless it's the missions where your territory is half the board, then it's the same exact play pattern.
I think it's better on the missions where I think this would be a lot more interesting on the ones where it was half the board because then you at least because then you have to go like into your opponent's territory a little bit, but there's like more space because it extends out so far. It's not just like a quarter of the board, right?
Yeah,
Being half the
exactly.
board, and then that makes it more interesting when it's that pattern. But like when it's the other pattern, it's not as interesting.
Yeah,
Maybe like
I can see it.
well, so the problem is like some wonky deployments. As I was about to say, if you're over on the other side of the board and then retreat back, but then
Mm-hmm.
there's like wonky deployment zones. So like, which side is like your side in that case? So,
Yeah, and I'm just trying to think of like what somebody like Vince or would say, and be like, all right, so now you have to do math for this one. What's half considered, right? Like that's just
yeah,
annoying.
exactly. Yeah, I mean it's very obvious in most cases, but like in the weird deployment ones, it's not as obvious.
You can make it
You
three
have
or
to do
more then,
something.
right? Instead of like
Uh,
half. Three or more units are back in your zone.
well, that runs I think even harder into the problem of like you just like scoot a few guys back.
Yeah, like you're like 3 units of skink, job's done.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
This
especially if you. Well, I guess you could word that they had to have been in opposing territory and now aren't. But like, otherwise, you can just like leave most of them there, put the bare minimum
your
in
whole
the,
army can't be
and
in your
then
deployment zone.
all of your units. Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, your whole
Okay,
army.
I
Yeah.
missed that little part. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. That solved that problem then. Yep, totally.
Mm-hmm. Which is actually an opportunity cost too. If like the other guy can teleport whatsoever.
Yeah, so then they
Because
can
then you
just
just
like
give them
be
all
behind you.
the deep strike space in the world.
Yeah, so yeah, actually, maybe that one does have. Maybe that one is very interesting.
Maybe
Then
there is something here. Hi.
maybe there's something. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. We had to play it a little bit.
This feels like the least good one to me here,
Sure.
but I think there's something there.
Yeah, there might be something. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
And the last one is secure a route. You complete this battle tactic if you control more table quarters than your opponent.
Yeah, I mean that sounds fine.
Yeah. And so another thing I read people like their opinions on these that they don't like is that a lot of them you're like, how is this actually in a lore sense winning me the game?
Oh, sure.
So like
Uh,
this one makes sense to me because you're just trying to secure a clear path for your guys to get out or get in or whatever. And
see,
like that's why like sound the alarm is like, oh, you're retreating, so you're gonna get tactic advantage that way, right?
so I guess different people are think
Drawn to
about
different
things
things.
different ways.
Yeah, you never once
Uh,
thought about that.
well, personally, I prefer sacrificing lore reasoning for the sake of having better gameplay.
Yeah, I agree
Like that
entirely.
does not bother me at all. If the game is going to play better because of something, I don't care if it doesn't make sense
Yeah,
lore wise in any way, shape, or form.
I
If
completely
it
agree.
yeah, if it leads to a better game, that's what I want. Now,
But
not everyone wants that, and I understand that. But
yeah,
to me, that's if you have better gameplay, like you can fudge the lore,
okay.
like
My
whatever.
my point here is that was a ground up design of I just wanted you to have superior board position, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
then I found a name that fit.
Yeah.
So if we have to name these, we might as well try to make them as much of like an actual tactical thing as possible.
Sure.
Yeah, but I think at the long run, yeah, I think you're definitely right. Like
Well,
mechanics first.
it honestly had nothing to do with this one in particular.
Yeah.
Just your
Well, it's
comment
just
about
my
like some
comment
people
about
are
it.
like,
Yeah.
how is this helping? It's like I don't care how it's
Yeah.
helping. Like I don't care if there's like any lore reason whatsoever
How's
for
this
this thing
helping
to
me?
be here.
It gets me more victory points.
Yeah,
That's how it's
exactly.
helping me.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it made the game more interesting by having this
Yep.
be a thing. Like that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So here, I'm gonna put you on the spot a little bit. Which one's your favorite? Which one's your least favorite?
oh, perfect. I like being on the spot for this kind of stuff.
Yep.
Let's see. Um, my favorite one. I think my favorite one is the you complete this battle tactic with a single hero issued 3 or more commands abilities in a single turn.
I'm not
Because
sure. Yeah. Go ahead.
well, is that my favorite? Because you kind of might want to do that anyway.
For me, it's between that and a silent observation, which is the
You
you
know, that's
can't use them.
funny. I was thinking that was the other one I was thinking.
Yep.
So yeah, all right, we're kind of on the same page there then, because like I like the idea of the opportunity cost. Maybe it doesn't play out good in practice, but like they're the ones that I'm like most excited to try
Yeah.
and like see what it feels like when you actually play
And by
with
the
it.
way, these are the ones that people stop using when you have a bunch of good ones in your book,
Right, exactly.
which is the
Yeah, like why would
problem
you
with the
ever
book
use
one.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would you ever
Yep.
take an opportunity cost when you don't have to?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Um, you know what? I think what I would like is the battle tactics to usually like maybe usually be doable, but like you have to go like super out of your way to do it and like really like bend yourself over backwards to actually get it sometimes.
Yeah, like that's my thought too. Is like if you have the 3 points, you auto get that, right?
Yeah, you auto get it, but
You don't have points for your next turn.
exactly.
Yeah.
Or you had to like yeah, or you have to save all your points one turn to use them the next or whatever, and you're like forced to well,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you wouldn't have yeah, so the normal pattern you would have 3 if you go second. So you'd actually have to intentionally not use any points on their turn so that you have enough on oh no wait, no,
You would
you
have
get another
four.
point
Yeah,
in
so
your
you
turn.
can you're
Yeah,
allowed
you have
you're
enough.
allowed one
You're allowed one. Okay.
with a heroic action if you really want to gamble.
Yeah, you can get another. All
Yeah.
right. Yeah, but I think 3 is still like enough of a cost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like
Or you
you
could make it like you have to use
All.
4 command abilities in a turn or something
Yeah.
to get it, to even get it. But
Hmm.
you don't limit it to one person, obviously, because that would be incredibly difficult to actually do.
Yeah. The reason I
If
limited
not
it to
impossible.
one
But
person was because I wanted it to be something that's like following a unit. So you're actually putting them in the fray too.
oh, sure, sure, yeah, yeah. But I guess what I'm saying, if we change it to be 4 would actually be, I think, a lot harder to do than 3 because you have to like actively go out of your way to get another command point,
Yeah.
right? Or intentionally not use any in the previous turn. It's like much more. 4 feels a lot harder to do than 3,
Yeah.
and like you're limited in how many you can
So
use
you
in
don't
any
need to
given
limit the
phase.
zero then.
Also,
Yeah.
so then you don't limit it by that, and that could be really fun. I'd like to test out both of those.
Is there a world where both of them go in?
Maybe.
Yeah. I'm thinking that there might be a world where you put both of these in, especially in your format where you pick a list and you share them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was actually just thinking that too because
Yeah.
it might be interesting, like of being like, well, I was gonna go for this one, but my opponent, has an easier time getting this other one, so I'm gonna switch it up because they picked that one.
Hmm.
I can do this one later, type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And then what's the least favorite one?
Least favorite. They're all awesome, Alex. I love them all.
Thank you. But we can always do better.
I think kill enemy general probably.
Okay.
It's just like sometimes it's just gonna be too hard to do, like because your opponent is just like, look, I put him in the back of your melee arm, suck it.
Yeah. So my thought here, and why I had both of them, and maybe it's wrong even. I'm fine with it being wrong, but the idea is that you put lead by example and you force your general to go in and kill something. And now he's kind of exposed to slay the warlord.
Oh, maybe.
It's
Yeah,
one
I can see it. It's kind of like the back and forth there.
big C. It's one vermin lord being worked on and a Screech Vermin King observing the progress of his new Warbringer. But yeah, so this is what's going on with the Warbringer right now. And I'm gonna dry brush a lighter blue, and I think I'm gonna wash first either Nuln Oil or a Draconoth Nightshade. Right here. But yeah, I'm happy with this guy so far. I don't know what I'm doing for the armor. I might do the new Storm Vermin contrast over this. What do you think? Is that too much blue? My initial plan was black, but
I don't know.
I don't know.
Which one did you say again?
Storm Vermin?
Storm.
Or Storm Fiend.
Storm Fiend.
Even if you're a Skaven player, you get the two mixed up.
Oh, I know, right?
I gotta repaint his tassel because it's the same color as his fur, and that's not gonna fly.
No. What are you doing?
That Warcry Birdman. Oh yeah. Are you looking at the paints right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
No. No. I don't have a bunch of paints I'm not supposed to have.
Bill got a new lens that's like blurry at a distance, but it's hyper focused close up.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like somebody was saying how much they
I
loved
really
your
like it.
stuff, so I just wanted you to bring it up a little closer for him.
Yeah. So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
That's I just decided to paint them all fun colors
Yeah.
because I like it.
Mm-hmm. You know what? Yeah, that is fun. I like him. You know what though? Like, if the Eshin Vermin Lord can be like taller than a skyscraper and somehow be invisible, I think a colorful bird can be sneaky too.
Oh, absolutely, right?
I don't think
Like,
that's far out of the
this is a
question.
fantasy world. Fantasy world, anything can happen. It's good.
Yeah. Like these things are like many times bigger than a human.
Also, my wife very much approves, so
Yeah.
that helps too.
Yeah.
Making other
Exactly.
people happy.
Yeah, maybe one day I'll have a wife who approves.
I'm wishing you all the best.
Yeah, I'll get there one day. But anyway, yeah, Slay the Warlord I think is probably the weakest here. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I like these a lot. I want to try them.
Yeah.
But do you see what I mean with the counterplay though? Of like, if you overcommit with lead by example, you expose yourself to Slay the Warlord. But I agree with your point that that's not always true.
Yeah, like they can just not take that one, and then it's kind of just a dead one, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. But there is the counterplay. Yeah, no, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's definitely an example I didn't think of at first because
Yeah.
it's like, Well, they can just stay back, and it's just kind of a dead one. But like,
They give up the other
they
one.
go for the other one, then it's suddenly not dead. So
Yep.
no, all right. I see what you're saying. I don't think like it's my least favorite, and I don't think it'll happen as often. But I see what you were trying to do there,
Yeah.
and that is interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Anyway, so last slide is just closing thoughts about the whole thing. Yeah, we were a little harsh on the book ones, but I think it was justified. I'm really curious to see what people think about that section of the lecture.
Yeah,
See,
the lecture. Yeah, yeah. This is going up on educational sites.
kinda. I
I mean,
mean,
yeah, it is.
like we
Wow.
covered
Okay,
a lot of ground.
we did. We definitely.
Yeah, and like it
We had
might
a
be
lot of fun.
opinion, but like, then it's a TED talk, right?
Right.
Yeah, it was well researched, I think.
Welcome to my TED talk. Tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, but yeah, at the end of the day, I think like there's a little bit of a clickbaity title here, like, are these good for the game? The answer is obviously yes.
Yeah.
Like this solved so many problems over second edition. But like honestly, like I mean, you and I both probably do agile at our work, and everything is about like looking at your own team and like seeing any sort of improvement you can make anywhere. And like
Right.
even if
Yeah.
it's a better system, there's if you're not like doing self analysis and self evaluation, like you're gonna there's what are you doing, right?
Right. And while it's not our game, we love the game, so we obviously have opinions on what we'd like to see in the
Yeah,
game.
and like imagine a world where like a GW person's watching this and like
It's like, oh, maybe we'll try that.
yeah,
Yeah.
or like
Like,
at least like they want to know what people think too, and they want to know why people like or dislike certain things.
yeah, because I mean, like,
It's feedback. It's honest
you
feedback.
yeah, you take ideas from wherever you can get them, and
Yeah.
you have to analyze to see if they're even worth your time. But
Mm-hmm.
like occasionally there'll be that nugget of like, you know what? Yes, that is a good idea, and we're gonna do that.
Yeah.
And and they shamelessly pluck it and call it their idea, and we don't care because we know it was ours. And
And then
fun.
we have a better game anyway. Like you can have them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like here you go.
Mm-hmm.
If
I
you think
know.
it's a good idea and put it in the game,
Yeah.
fantastic. Be
I
happier.
believe people should be paid for their work, but like my payment would be that I get to play a game with these rules.
Right.
Yep. Perfect. All right. I think that's it for tonight. I'm gonna finish this dry brushing here. We have a
We managed to go over on this stream too, Alex.
yeah. We're over forever now.
Yeah, we basically are. Yeah,
Yeah. There's no way around it.
we're calling it a short stream when we actually end tonight.
Yeah. And we had a lot to chat about at the beginning.
Yeah,
I was
definitely.
actually I'm happy we went over because I was worried that we're gonna just like say stuff and be like, "Yep, okay, cool."
Okay, and we're done.
But we actually had like a lot
How
to
we
talk
feeling this
about.
next half hour?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like there's plenty of agreeing and disagreeing, which is great.
Yep.
So overall, happy. I can't wait to get this one on YouTube.
Yeah. Yep.
Um,
We'll see if we get a load of comments.
yeah,
Hopefully.
and like yeah, I want to know what people think, and I want to see, um, like honestly, community challenges a little bit more too. Like, I would love to put the community challenge out there, even though I don't have like any sort of pull of this, of like,
Yeah.
how do I say this? Uh, like, you guys make your own battle packs with tactics and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
I would love to see that.
And like
I would
see
love to
how
see
things
other
play,
opinions. Yeah.
and like we could analyze like what do we think is going to be good in this meta because of like
Mm-hmm.
how it was worked.
And we talked a lot about too, like the categories of battle tactics and how we weren't really sure, like if we hit all of them, and like maybe there's just a whole group of things that we missed that we could be talking more about.
Right.
Right.
And like the more of these you see, the more good ideas you can build into like making better battle packs in the future.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because we have such a limited amount. Like if you go over and have like play a bunch of things, and it's like, well, this one's good, but like this idea didn't quite work. Like
Yeah.
you
You
can make
can
it
learn
better.
from it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I would love to see a community challenge there. Actually, you know what? Like calling them out right now. War Coda. You could totally be a battle pack, right?
Oh yeah.
You could absolutely make a battle pack out of it instead of just the 4 missions.
Yep.
And like I would love to see what you guys come up with because those battle packs were so good. Or those missions were so good. Like you're more
Oh
than
yeah,
capable of making an excellent battle pack.
yeah. Just like do the whole thing,
Yeah,
and
I would love to see what you guys come up with.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah, yeah, high praise for you guys here. But that's gonna be the show tonight. The next one we're gonna play with contrasts. It's gonna
Heck
be a
yeah, we are.
little less of a lecture, more of like the traditional, like we're gonna hang out and hobby kind of
Yep.
one. That sounds exciting to you guys. Please join us. This will go up on YouTube later. Anything else? I think we're good.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Have a good night, everybody.
See you guys.